There it is, eh? Spreads and hedging?
Yep.
Love it. Guys, same bat time, same bat channel. Get it, Bitcoiners.
Boy, I mean, every now and then, look, it's such a great floor that you got Joe lending his coat to Obi, apparently. It is, look, don't get me wrong, it's a little chilly in here, so you got to do what you got to do. Just be way to be a team player there, Joe. Obi just doing his things. Like, it's great. We had a meeting. We're in the boardroom. Like, oh, it's nice and warm in the boardroom. No, but my hands are absolutely freezing. But Bitcoin is hot. Crypto is hot. We keep saying crypto and Bitcoin.
The block is hot.
But ETH got a bit of a move as well. So it's not just like it was only Bitcoin that was going. It was Bitcoin that made that big technical breakout, and hence why we keep talking about Bitcoin specifically. But a host of other things have been making power moves. But the story, I mean, you got to look at BTC in here as to what's going on. There is your trend break. There is the glorious move into the all-time high on Bitcoin. We are now $100 away. Don't at me. It's probably like a little bit more than 100 away, but you guys get the idea, or everyone gets the idea that you are power moves to the upside here for Bitcoin, and just keeps on climbing and climbing. The market has been churning. The NASDAQ sits at 2-day highs. I mean, ish. I mean, obviously not to the wick, but 2-day highs right now on the NASDAQ. Nary red candles on all of these. And AMD.
Oh boy.
So sometimes apparently, hey man, day before earnings, you're like, oh, you'll trade anything else, but AMD 3%, ARM is flying to the upside as well. So chips are strong. These guys report after the bell. It is going to be, look, every day the market provides opportunities is fun. Every day the aftermarket show gets to be fun. But it's a little bit special, Sean, when you get some big names reporting. I got nothing against Ford. Okay, maybe I do.
What's wrong with Ford? It seems like you do have something against it.
Okay. You know what? We got to be honest. I do. Ford's a bad it's a bad company. It's a bad stock. There was movement on it, but I think it'll be a little more exciting tonight when you get Alphabet and AMD. I'm just throwing it out there. Apologies to anybody that loves Ford.
We are very excited for earnings today, and we're long Mara right here. We're talking about a little bit of that Bitcoin trade, so we'll take Mara here and see if it wants to come back in. So back down to 19. We just bought a little bit here as well. So this is my play today for crypto, and we still have Nvidia. We're still long here at 140 off of this dip. We got a bunch out on the way up. We were in a meeting, but it doesn't matter. It's coming back in. I was thinking about buying some more right here off of this, but let's just wait to see. The market is nicely up right here following that 50 period. Excuse me, moving average right there. Okay. Look, excited here for that close. I mean, AMD moving upside. I mean, Nvidia's up 0.6 right now. AMD up more than that. I thought it was up 3% at one point, was it not? Yes, there it is. AMD motoring to the high side. I think they're going to have. I mean, I just like the fact that we bounced off the 50-period moving average. And again, no one's supposed to know anything ahead of earnings, but this is really reacting nicely there now ahead of earnings, back up into 175 right here. So let's see what winds up happening now with AMD as we continue to climb higher. And then the other name reporting, as we mentioned, Alphabet coming through right there, 170 right now for Alphabet. And I had talked about this earlier. What a great level to have bought off of there, 50 period and the 200, now right there to the upside. A well-hated name, as Joe was talking about there. But what if they come up and put up a number? So.
Rob passed me a note. All it said is he's like all secretive about it and passed it on a napkin, saying he bumped the thermostat from 22 to 23, which I appreciate because, like I said, it's cold in here. But you know the problem with that. You go 1 degree on our thermostat here, and it goes from too cold to too hot right quick, which is fine. That's why we have layers on. But I do believe Sharif is in position. So let's go talk about the names that you want to today. I imagine there's going to be some crypto. Can't believe that DJT bounced off of VWAP. That should have been good. Oh,
it was a good look, Neil. Guys, welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Big kahunas are locked and loaded. They're ready to look at takers as decided by you. So join us every day on the How to Trade show and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers, but only the top 5 make it on. So let's have a look at the NQ. It's almost at day's highs, up 0.88%. The leading index on the day, the ES also green, but only about a fifth of a percent in the green. The Russ and the Dow red on the day. The Dow just 0.2 and the Rust, last time I checked, about down 0.2%. But the first ticker, as decided by you, Neil kind of alluded to it there, DJT, another day, another move up as we get into those close to taking out that top guys that we talked about in the morning, largely running on Donald Trump's heightened chances of winning the election.
Well, I mean, the probability, I think you have the site up. I'd have to go check it right now. It was 64%. So that's the betting sites, because ultimately, when we're talking about this, actually, it came from our meeting. Put your money where the mouth is. Sometimes the betting sites are just going to be a little bit more accurate. You got polls out the wazoo that'll say one thing and then another happens. But DJT, it was gapped up big on huge volume huge pre-market volume, which a lot of times when you get that kind of a move and then you get like a pullback off of what was a good level on the daily, you got to really zoom out here. There you go. That 57 was a top on the daily. I don't remember who it was, but somebody in the pre-market, when we were doing that pre-market show, it might have been before we came on, I did see someone post that they were taking a shot at shorting DJT at 57, and there were a lot of like good luck with that comments, because the thing was flying into that 57. But I was looking for a dip buy. I missed the 50, missed the prior high. These were very, like, it was flushing, and these turns were very, very quick, right? So old man hands, sometimes you don't get those. And then it made a capitulation bottom, and then there was a halt up. Once it reopened, there was a trend down trade or a trend reversal trade, I should say, that broke back out. So that was the only trade that I ended up having on DJT. And then if you look at, I wanted to go to that daily chart. So if you go back to the daily chart, like where it eventually, is that wick right? Okay, that's pretty good. Just want to make sure that's the right wick. If you look at where this was able to bounce, it was the last time it traded this range, there's 57. And then there is the bottom right in and around 42.5. So that bottom that we put in today, just very similar range to the last time we were here. So DJT, some profit taking, but it's up 4.5x from those lows when the lockup expired. And then just one more, because I want to get to Funware, which I am not going to trade for the rest of the day today, because I think the relationship got broken a little bit when you could just short Funware on moves in DJT. While it was a short this morning, timing it based on curls in DJT didn't work out, because I was short when DJT halted, and then this decided it wanted to break back out. So, and then you get another curl and it would pop to the upside. So then eventually I just shorted underneath the trend, which was the last one, then got out when it trend reversed. Probably should have just taken this trend reversal as well, but I kind of just left a stop in there as we had to go to our meeting and did not make the reversal. So the relationship was a little bit broken in terms of the timing of entries. It doesn't really matter if you have the direction right, if your execution strategy, which mine was based off the DJT tape, if that goes awry, then it doesn't really matter if you have the direction right, because then my timing is going to be off. So Funware down 17%, DJT still flying. That VWAP bounce, Sharif, I don't know, you were playing VWAP, I think you were saying you were playing VWAP on DJT. That was great, but we were in a meeting. Maybe we'll get it again, 51. We'll see. It could come into that 51. Looks like it's starting to pull back a little bit here.
I wonder how many more times we're going to mention that we are in meetings today. Yeah, so I would have got out here, but I was in a meeting. But yeah, I was. Yeah, just let you guys know that. Okay, so I just got out of half of what was left on Nvidia here because we broke that 200 period moving average. So we're taking a little bit out right there on that one. Look, man, scared money don't make money. And like Neil mentioned there, someone, and we had mentioned it early as well, you know, it's putting your money where your mouth is at the end of the day. And we had talked about, when you're looking at that daily chart here for DJT, that there had been some tops up here, but you know, to hold that through this 57 is pretty bold. So congratulations, whoever did that one. But there's the high there, 57.75. Nice move back in. I had said that, you know, the end of this week might be the last of this. We're going to see huge move up today. We talked about this as we left yesterday. Remember, I was like, DJT could moon. And I said it could go to $100, but it didn't get quietly there. Again, the short percentage, we've had some talks about what percentage is appropriate for that. Some sites saying 10, some sites saying 20. But at the end of the day, it's 64 right here. I had actually had that site up when Neil was mentioning it there. Yeah, 64.36. You know, I've been looking at this for a minute. You know, 3 of the states that are in question are up here. We've talked about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So, yeah, November 5th, next Tuesday, will it be decided or not? And these are just other polls. There's going to be polls. that even show the other way. So, at the end of the day, we'll see what those exact results are. And then we'll see what DJT happens because, it's the Truth Media, right? It's Truth Social. So the last report they had was limited revenues, and I'm not sure what the user count, what this is actually going to be worth. So holding it for a business is one thing, holding it for a move based on election results is another. So just, as long as we're all in the same mind about that one, $53, great area to maybe exit if you're long and hold on to something for the huge move potentially up. But anyways, DJT, a good stock there, not one that will probably be trading. I mean, for me, I need to get back to that $50 level.
It might.
Tesla.
Yeah, the only Mag 7 that's actually a negative today, Sean. Tesla down 1.5% off the bottoms. However, Barclays maintained their equal weight on Tesla and boosted the price target from 220 to 235, obviously below where it's trading right now. Separately, there was this headline, Tesla extending 0% loans in China. You speculate as to why they're doing that. Perhaps demand still a bit of an issue there, guys, but they hope it helps them hit that 1.81 million vehicles in 2024 that they're aiming for.
Don't bet against Elon. But look, the run up in Tesla and on the volume was, as you can see, pretty amazing. Like that earnings, and now you get day 3, you get day 4, the volume's starting to taper off. I mean, what more could you ask for? It broke out. You got right into the obvious resistance level. Let's just zoom it out so you can see here. That lower high at the 270, that's where it ended up turning, and you get a little bit of follow through today. The eyes are kind of going, I think like the eyes are going somewhere else now, and it's looking for a bit of a base. Now, the most obvious place would be the 250 level, like that prior high for an initial bounce zone, and it bounced off 255. I'd say it bounced off 255 already today, so that was pretty decent for, I guess, a trend reversal. I think that's the level you work off of, but you can see now all of a sudden that first support in here, about 261, has turned into resistance this afternoon, and the 260 has been a bit of a wall on Tesla. That sits around VWAP as well, so there's not too many. I mean, the market's obviously up 1%, has been really strong. So when you're looking for things that are like underneath VWAP right now on the radar, Tesla, VWAP retracement type plays, and then like Intel, though it had some news that somehow it went up, even though I didn't think it was good news. Those are the kind of things you look for the VWAP retrace. But that 260 to 261 zone, looking like some support to resistance post earnings here on Tesla. And Ford, obviously down. Ford caught a bid. So Ford ended up catching a bid today despite the bad earnings. Guidance.
Hey, yeah, Ford. Built Ford tough. Okay. Yeah, exactly. The more you know, Fabian. The more you know. Okay, so Tesla is getting real close, man. There it is right there. That is that 255 area. We lose that, problems. So I would say watch out for that. I mean, we've already bounced off of it once. So this 250, it's really like 250, whatever the low is today would be fine. Yeah, 255.50. So I think that would be something to look for. We're well away from that now. So barring the market coming back in half decently here, you're not going to get a 255.50. But for me, that would be on the radar right now. You guys know my plan. When the market's up here, like I can get short, but it's going to have to be basically at the highs. I would rather kind of look for some support in where to get long. So when I'm looking at a stock like Tesla, it's not really a long candidate because we're down today. So I'm going to wait to pick on something else. But if you thought the market was going to retrace, nervous hands like I have about Google today. I don't have any nervous hands. I'm not selling anything that I own, but a little bit worried about it. So I think if there's other traders like that, then the NASDAQ will fall in. I mean, we are pretty close to these highs right now. So I could see some pullbacks happening. And if Tesla's going to pull back, then right now you have this 260, which is VWAP as well, helping to support your theory. So yeah, I think if you're going to go short one name, I would stamp Tesla even right now at the 200 period, breaking lower. So this could be a good trade right here, 258 short Tesla.
AMD, essentially at the highest, guys. Beautiful look here, almost at 165, up over 3%. In case you're just joining us, we got this headline midday. Reuters reporting that Broadcom and OpenAI are developing an AI inference chip together. Have a look at the Broadcom chart, really strong last time I looked as well. OpenAI reserving Taiwan semis capacity. We know that Nvidia takes the majority of that capacity, so looks like OpenAI getting in and trying to reserve that. And then last but not least, the one that's relevant to us, OpenAI using AMD chips alongside Nvidia chips, and that had the market quite impressed, guys, because we zigged and zagged. It was essentially right here when we got that news, and now we're moving up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, AMD now at the high of the day, and anything that we think about it for the next hour and, well, I guess they report after the bell, so we'll call it a couple of hours here, you can all get thrown out the window. That said, right now it's incredibly strong, as Sharif mentioned. You burst through the 200 period. It's just as much as, you know, like yesterday, it was holding the 50-period moving average, and like the long because of that reason. As we said, it was a bit of a tricky long. I would argue that while it was like the chart's much cleaner on that one dip and then breakout, wasn't really looking at, I can't lie, I wasn't really looking at AMD today because of those earnings. And I don't necessarily want to buy highs on an earnings name here. So yeah, the trend would be to get into the long while it's good. Maybe you can find something to work off of it, like the 164. But then, as Sharif mentioned, oh, never mind. Broadcom was trending up. Now Broadcom's even pulling back in here. But I guess so you look at the prior, like Broadcom on that news, the prior high, there you go, right in here about 176.5. They used to hold this 177 maybe. I think that could be a place to look for a dip. But the last I had looked, Broadcom was actually stronger than this. I don't like the fact that it's pulled back this much. The market hasn't pulled back very far. We might have to let go of that notion. And you also have a similar thing going in Nvidia. I was playing over-under actually short early on Nvidia. We got away from it quickly, thankfully. This is holding above prior close, which is 140.50. Well, this one also looks like a nice opportunity. Maybe a bit of a reversion of the trend here. So you get some lower highs put into a flat base and then break the trend back up. I'd just rather not be in AMD in the last 90 minutes. I'd rather trade something else in the space. You don't have to deal with all that pre-earnings unwinding or risk-off nonsense and just go based off regular price action, I think, with some of the other chip names.
So we're just was looking here, getting some more out of Mara. You know, I dip bought that. This was on the sticky note. We really like this 19 level, able to grab it. So there it is again. Takes them out the 50-period moving average. So that's what we're doing. Hey, look, man, would love to have this thing move higher, but again, it's a little bit more shares. So we'll try to take it out as it continues to go up, and just adding to some of the trading that we've been doing here today. That Nvidia out looks like that was maybe a little bit of a panic play there, as it's bouncing back up right now as well. So this is what we talked about with the futures, right? Is unless you're going to go somewhere, really break that, and then we can maybe start to play it into VWAP and try to hold the short or take that and maybe play the long. I don't think right now I want to be staring at this for too long and worrying about trades. So we'll still stay with the Palantirs and all that, the stocks that we've been trading. Look, we talked a little bit about Google already. I think a 170 break is actually going to be in play right now. If you like the long, I mean, why not? I mean, it's been really moving, really represented VWAP, really took the 50-period moving average again here on the 5-minute chart, looking fantastic to the upside. It's Google, and yeah, a big part of my long-term holdings is this name, and pretty happy with the way it's been performing. It's up 15% in a month or so, heading in, or I guess a month and a half, heading into earnings. So that 150 bottom right there back on September 11th comes all the way up to 170 today. So yeah, a month and a half, you add $20 to this name. I mean, it's been doing well. It's just today's earnings. So it will be tricky to trade this into the close, but I think a 170 break is worth taking.
Yeah, well, Sean's talking about Google there. We'll just talk a little bit about it again. Microsoft accusing Google today of basically trying to conspire with other smaller cloud providers in Europe as part of this lobbying effort to have the EU take a look at Microsoft Azure as a possible monopoly or anti-competitive practices. So keep your eye on that. But as Sean mentioned, Google right into the high of the day, 1.8% in the clear. And they are reporting after the bell. And here's what the market expects. So last time around, we dropped about 5%. This is market chameleon, the market expectations. This time, guys, the expected move plus or minus 6.6%. Make sure to catch that with the market recap show and Sean after the bell.
Yes, sir. And exciting news, everybody. Trade the Pool's giveaway winner reveal is live on the web. Head over to see if you're the lucky winner. Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. Best part? This limited program now has a reduced profit goal. Fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss your chance to explore this limited offer. You can scan the QR code you see there. Also, check out the link in the description of this video. Go ahead and do that. Shout out to Trade the Pool. I mean, we kind of just went over Alphabet. I don't have anything crazy to add. I mean, when you look at it, and again, we talk about trading opportunities because earnings plays are going to be the biggies. Are we still on? Can we come to the chart for a second? Oh, there we go. And we talk about trading opportunities. Yeah, I mean, Alphabet is primed. I mean, that's a bad pun because Amazon is primed. But it doesn't really matter. On the daily chart, like you're kind of already breaking out going into these earnings. So, you know, what else are you going to look at? That 170, maybe some dip buys. Typically don't love earnings names going into those earnings. But this one has been gearing to go. Everyone's been hating on Alphabet for whatever, I think reasons unknown. And all it's been doing is basing out this 50 and 200 and setting up for a breakout. Oddly enough, that 6.5%. That's gonna put you back if it were to go down. If it was to the downside, that's right back into prior support levels, just underneath the 160 level. So if it were to do that move to the downside, you'd essentially just be testing prior support, and then it's more of a gap into the upside. That 170 break is looming. The market seems more than strong enough to get us there. Alphabet is double what the market is right now.
I've already talked about taking 170 long. All right, Sharif, MSTR, let's go.
Kind of not at the high, Sean, but still 1% in the green. Obviously, MicroStrategies, Coinbase, Mara, CleanSpark, Hut, Riot, they're all running in anticipation of Bitcoin breaking all-time highs. And we're not far, guys. We're almost at that 73,000. We touched it, it looks like there during the midday, 73, kind of double top. But we're at the high again, looking to take that out, 73,000 on the way. I believe 73,700 and change. The boys will let you know what the all-time high is. We printed that back in March.
I mean, you're essentially right. I mean, what was it? It was 70, whatever. Right? It was 73.8 something. I don't know it off the top of my head in there. But the story there is, I mean, you've seen the NASDAQ, you've seen Bitcoin. But if you look at what's going on in MSTR, it was looking like a great reversal back through the prior highs, breakout. I had it going into that break, and then it got stopped right underneath. I mean, it's a small hit, and the timing of it really actually it wouldn't have been that great anyways. Like, it barely extended. I would have thought if you're going to go, because Bitcoin was taking out highs, you're going to reverse it and trying to go all the way to the top. It has a distinct trend line down, which has yet to be broken. I think that's what I would look for next here. I mean, Mars at a support level, and like we said this morning, the 19 level was one that we wanted to play off of anyways, but MSTR could make a trend reversal. You juxtapose that with what's happening in Bitcoin. It's really a Bitcoin story. This is IBIT. IBIT's at the highs and pressing highs. And you're just trying to play catch up in pretty much everything else. So that includes MSTR, which is part of the game. Like it had been stronger on some of the moves up. And today, a little bit of a lag on that big break as everyone sort of shifts over to the real deal. So it's a trend break. When it gets above 261.5 or so, it's got some room before it gets there. Like you have to get through VWAP easily and then close above. It's still working that downward trend on MSTR.
Yeah, let's just go with this because we talked about Mara, and I mean, there's the buy. We just did it right before we came on air, right here at 1880. It was the #1 trade idea on the sticky note today. We actually hit it right off the open to get long, and then we were able to buy it back at VWAP before it eventually lost VWAP, and that's where we're like, okay, maybe we got to tap out a little bit here on that note. But at the end of the day, still is going to continue to work out for us. So Mara, nice reload down there and a nice move higher. look, crypto is just a thing that's not going to be stopped, I don't think. 73,000 continuously going higher here. I think you can just get long. I know Joe was looking at IBIT as well. Breaking this high, probably a trade right now. So why don't we just take that into the close potentially here? 41.65. I mean, that's what it would be for IBIT. We were all over this yesterday. Yesterday's sticky note action was 49. We had 39.50 written down as the long. We were unable to hold overnight, but that was a great opportunity there as, yeah, man, the feels for this move have been around for a minute. So continues to go higher here. Bitcoin, it's working out. Nvidia's catching a bid, so is Mara. Things all working out over here as far as crypto is concerned. We really like that one. Ethereum as well, 26.5. And then just to look at some of the other names that are dancing a little bit here, I just reloaded this. There's Bitcoin in the last, so 6 for the top two there. Solana 3 and a bit up to, I last sold this in and around 195. So I'm going to double check what that price was and potentially get out of some Solana if it hits that price again. But XRP 3 there as well. Dogecoin, wow, the big winner there. Dogecoin up 15% last 24 hours. Cardano up 5 as well. That's nice. Shiba Inu, Tron is up. Yeah, Shiba Inu's up 10 as well. Tron coin up 3. That's it, man. Bitcoin Cash 7, Chainlink 7. But anyways, good feels in the space right now. So crypto continues to work higher, man. And I mean, you know, those hating on it, you know, they'll have their day. Yeah, they have their day. And it was like, you know, when it goes down, you're like, oh my God, I have too much. And then when it goes up, you're like, oh my God, I don't have enough. And that's
such is life.
You know, that's yeah, that's what, like with all investing, right? I mean, we'll look back and say, why don't I have more shares in this position or less in that position?
Why didn't I get out more SoFi? How many times have we done this song and dance on SoFi that, you know, they run up into earnings. It's a 10% day. SoFi is looking great. You can see all those growth metrics for SoFi, and then SoFi goes red.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time that we've seen that. I was going to say bamboozlement, but it's not bamboozlement if it happens every single time, right? Like the Chinese ADR is gapping up and then falling back down when there's no news. But that's not bamboozlement. That's just par for the course. I feel like it happens more often than not. So what also usually ends up happening is when you get a big volume spike through the high of the day, and clearly there was one just in Micron. I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything either, but this is the biggest spike since the morning on Micron, and it just took out the high and then went like 70, 80 cents. Again, I didn't hear anything in my ear. I just checked the news and didn't really see anything either, but a bit of a volume spike. Micron wasn't really doing all that much. Again, only up 1% when you have other chip names up like 3 points today. So I'd say it was a little bit surprising, but just going to keep eyes on it because obviously it just broke out the high. If there's something to it, this might be a good continuation play because it hadn't been, it wasn't exactly screaming relative to the other chips in here, and I'd rather not be in one that's going to report aftermarket. A bit of a breakout here on Micron. Again, not really sure what's going on in terms of news, but it was a pretty hefty volume spike.
All right, volume spike, you say, huh? Okay. All right, auto cancel off. I was thinking about maybe just taking out right here with Google, like why we might not get too much expectation here into the close to break this level. You know, the best level for me would be right here, 169. If it comes into that would be great. But into this is 169.80. I almost think that could be like a half a position and then add another half breaking through 170. So we're going to look at that. We still are long Nvidia. We're now $1.50 in the money on this one. P&L number 1 today will be Palantir. P&L number 2 will be Nvidia. And, you know, nice moves there to the upside. Like I was saying about Mara here, we're going to have to wait to see if that one keeps going up. We just got, again, perfect. From the bottom to the top, like that's easy to say, but that's like what you're trying to do, is buy low and sell high. And when you buy at the bottom and you get out at the 200 period, that is a register ringer right there, especially if you are on a prop floor and you're trading accordingly. You definitely want to make sure you're taking something out there if you get up to the top. All right, let's watch Google. I mean, I want to be in that if it does break that 80 level. There it goes. Okay, so it just did break it. I was actually on Nvidia, so as you guys know. All right, let's just take a small position now. Okay, we just punched 82s, or what did we get there? We got 84s. Wow, that's not good. Okay, so we just got 84s there long. I think we probably should have got 82, but here we go. Let's wait to see. It's okay. Small position. We do have more coming if it does break 70s. And then ultimately, because we're not in this huge, we'll take something if it comes back into this area here, 40s, and then we'll just wait for the 200 period. So we will give some back if this doesn't work from here, but I'm okay. This is kind of like maybe 10% of a position that we would have on like an ultimate trade, but we'll just wait to see what happens now with Google trying to get above 170 here heading into earnings. Just trying to play something with some sympathy today, and which has a catalyst. So that's Google. NASDAQ now up 1%.
Yeah, market absolutely flying. And DJT's, it might not see VWAP at this rate. It's right back into, it's not the high of, technically not the high of the day, because in the pre-market, as we said earlier, you got to 57. But this local high is 54.70 on DJT. So you're running out of time before you get a high break for any kind of a dip. In the afternoon, if you just look at what happened in the up move yesterday, after it gave VWAP, the only real play, if you weren't taking VWAP, was the lower high at 46. So I think something similar is going to have to be the way to go here. So VWAP bounce happened 51.5. It just had a local high at 52.5. Going to look for a pullback into that 52.5. It gets down in there, make a little bit of a base, and then look for a run back into the highs on DJT. It's been strong. Like we said, it's more of a squeeze play than anything else at this particular point. Do want to see, okay, Bitcoin's going up. That's good. So that should, we probably get into VWAP on Mara. And then I wanted to check out, look, there was a volume spike, and you guys heard Sharif bring the news on Intel. I didn't really particularly think it made sense that it was good news. I mean, so Gelsinger overstated some growth potential in AI chips, and the number was half that size, and that was the headline, and Intel decided to make a bottom. Okay, well, it seems like not a good headline, but for what it's worth, after that happened, very, very clear resistance spot here at 2280 in VWAP. So this could easily just be gearing up for a break. I don't like that the volume is shutting down in here, but if this can get through VWAP, it's a bit of a retracement trade. I guess price doesn't lie. I mean, it made a bottom on that news, so they must obviously like it there. So I'm looking for that, like we said, DJT pulling back in here. Just got to 53.5, looking for a long out in front of 52.5. I don't think waiting for VWAP is going to be the way to go on this one. So you just got to be a little bit patient. Matty C, CMG. And we keep talking about the big two for earnings. Well, Chipotle as well. They're the other ones after the bell today. I haven't looked at Chipotle all day today, but you got, yeah, I mean, obviously we always tend to lean toward the tech names. It is what it is. Obviously that's what usually gets traded. Yeah, these guys are flat on the day. It doesn't even look like it's moving much for Chipotle. So, I mean, I hate to tell you, it just makes more excitement for the aftermarket show, but this doesn't look like it's doing much of anything here today on Chipotle. So we'll have to wait for some excitement after the bell, I think, there, Matt.
Watching Google here. I mean, let's see what happens. We'll take 10 cents, and then we'll take 10 cents on a small piece of it because we want to see if it can go. We also want, you know what? We only took out 20% there. Let's take out another 20% if we get to 96 right there and sit on some gateways that'll pay us to make this well worth it right here. So, okay. So we're doing it here on this name. Let's just see if it will continue to work out for us as now there goes upside on Google. We just talked about it. Again, these are like, what we do best is trade. So this is what I'm doing. So there it goes. Nice upside move there for Google. We'll take out a piece. We'll see. Looking for a 170 break on that one. Mara, let's take out another piece. I mean, sitting here acting like this is going to do something when we already have the win is a little bit silly again. So we'll take another piece out right here. We'll take out another 5% or so of what we have right now and hope for the best here on Mara. So that will be what we're doing right now. Hopefully we'll get some fills there at 04s. And there it goes back up now to the upside. So good take there for Mara. Looks like Google may fall back in a little bit here, so we'll have to look to see if exactly it wants to do that. But for right now, it's Nvidia, Mara, Google, all longs, and it's Adara at Zdesk. Yep, Adara.
here what happened during the midday session in case anyone missed it. Lots of strength in Bitcoin, surpassing that 72,000 level for the first time in months after initially just passing that 71,000. So once we broke that 70,000 level, BTC continuing to push higher. The S&P 500 up about 0.3%. NASDAQ slightly stronger on the day as we have big tech, Meta up about 2% near day's highs. We have GOOGL and AMD reporting after the bell, so both of those are going to be on watch. DJT continuing to make some midday moves as well. But we have some other stocks here on watch moving during the midday, notably Broadcom and TSM. AVGO here, near day's highs at almost the $180 level, developing a chip here with OpenAI, which is going to be OpenAI's first in-house chip. TSMC is also involved here. So TSM up about 1.5%, Broadcom a little bit stronger, up almost 4% here, guys. Lots on watch during a midday, just part of one of many exciting aspects of this trading day, guys.
Yeah, that is for sure. We'll go.
English.
It was English.
That was English.
It was all right. All right, so right there, 170. We'll take another piece out here if we can get it out at 97s. Let's make sure we can though first. Into 97 right now. So that's going to be a level that we can get another piece out if we're lucky enough to do that here in Google. Oh, there we go. I think we got it. We did get it. So, all right, so we got 97s right there. So now let's just pay attention because our mind now is on watching that 170 break. I mean, we called it. It was a good idea about 10 minutes ago going long. So here's a little bit of a win there. I mean, I guess you could have bought 0-day expiry options at 170 and made money there. So let's just now wait to see what winds up happening. Let's see if we can break through. We are going to go longer there if it does break. Again, like sitting here talking Mara is useless. So we already got out. We got out there. We got out there on that position. And then what's really starting to run for us here is also Nvidia looking for this high break as well. But I'm not looking too hard for it. I mean, if it's there, it's there. After that, you know, we'll sort of slow our roll a little bit and watch out for Google. I mean, I think that's a hot one. You mentioned Alibaba before breaking back underneath 100, right?
I think it was most of
Still
the.
there.
I think it was most of the Chinese ADRs. Although you know what, I didn't check them all, but again, that gap up is always going to be a bit of a thing. It just look, Broadcom. Remember we were mentioning Broadcom with regards to AMD and AMD reporting earnings. You don't have to worry about that with Broadcom. But Broadcom higher lows into a flat top, ish. That top is 178.85. So didn't really get into the 65 or VWAP on that pullback, but it's churning and consolidating for a high break. So I'm going to get a stop for Broadcom. And again, I know AMD and Broadcom are very similar looking charts, but I just rather the one that you don't have to worry about the earnings. Whoops, I go 170. That's right. Well, I just transposed it and put 187. You don't want to cross that far in a break of 178. So we'll get, and when we put a limit order in,
That would work though.
no, look, it would have worked. It's just I can't. It skews the chart there because essentially where it puts the stop order for the breakout is where your limit price is, how far you're crossing. So it would still work. There's nothing wrong with it. It's within I think 10% or 5%. I think is what it has to be. 178.85 is going to be that high. I checked Investopedia because you're asking about that Bitcoin high, and I saw like 73,835. I don't know. So whether or not that's actually true, let's just call it at 74 is going to be very clean. So 74 is a very clean, obvious you're making those highs in BTC. But I like Broadcom in here, 4%. You had that AMD news. As far as Mara goes, there was a trend, like it just, the VWAP trend in here, the test of the low. If we lose that trend out, and from here, break into VWAP. So offering at this level and then wait for 1925 with the plan. I'm looking for that Broadcom breakout. If DJT is going to suddenly do nothing, which it's not doing much, there's no break of the high, there's no pullback into VWAP, you're just getting a bit of a malaise here. You're going to look for that Broadcom breakout if that's what it has to be. Randy is in the house.
Yes, he is.
Chilling out there. Randy.
Looking
Ford.
Andy.
Ford stinks still. No, they're a problem.
Any more recalls or?
Oh, people were dropping all kinds of nasty puns for Ford. The good news is it's off of the lows, but Ford's down 8%. There's really nothing good to look at here.
Is it true? Is it true that they are built Ford tough? Maybe even the 90s.
That was the 90s.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, and you were telling me that one of Ford's problems, of course, is the reliability sometimes of their builds, right?
They do recalls.
They do recalls. Yeah, if you have problems with your vehicles, generally there's recalls there. The good thing about the Tesla recalls, of course, is that they're over the air, so you don't really have to worry about too much of those.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you have a problem with your, what do they have in the Cybertruck? They had a mat that was the gas stuck under the gas.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there was a windshield wiper issue,
Was
but
this one of those issues? Okay.
you know, that's not terrible.
It's neither here nor there.
No,
That's not a big deal.
That's okay.
So we're still going long on Tesla then as the only really profitable EV
What's
company.
Rivian doing today?
Really?
I
Rivian,
was
eh?
asking about Rivian.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's see what Rivian's doing.
like, probably not good. Down
bottomed,
4%.
yeah.
Down, Google.
Wait, bottom,
Did
it's down 4%.
There was a nice
bottomed.
short right there.
This is nice. There's a nice short all over the place
Wow.
on Rivian. You short there, you can short there, you can short there, and there, and there, and yeah. I mean, $10 on Rivian looks okay on the daily chart, and pretty much everywhere else looks terrible. That's what I'd say about Rivian. No, like let this thing make a bottom, man. Rivian stinks. Lucid. I mean, nobody's making any money. Lucid, low of the day. No one should be surprised by that. 2% down. The Chinese ones. What did NIO do? I mean, these all lost the gap back in. Come on, NIO. Load. It's down. I know it's down. That's just a matter of how much it's going to be down. Only a couple of points, apparently, on NIO. But, like, gap up, and they give almost the entirety of the move. Actually, the entirety of the move, but half the move from yesterday's close to the bottom. Tough day for the EV names. No questions asked. That has all the Chinese ADRs kind of pull back. The fact that NIO's down has nothing to do with Ford or anything along those lines. So Broadcom is trying and trying and trying and so close. It is a couple of cents away from breaking the high. Actually, 2. It just got 2 cents away from breaking the high. Although I can't tell. I have these weird dark pool levels. Did it break?
What?
Maybe it did break. I have my Edge A
Thank you for the water.
saying it, you know what, for some reason, I just did not get triggered. You could see my stop order was actually in there. It did take out the high. I just saw it. Like, the high is now 178.96, so it broke that local high. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. You get the same price anyways. It's kind of weird. I must have keystroked it somehow. I mean, obviously, I must have used the wrong key, because sometimes what can happen is you throw the order that you throw out when the stop breaks. I could have keystroked and put like some random dark pool or something that's not going to fill. But it did say Edge A, for what it's worth. But anyways, Broadcom is broken high.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That was just weird because you could see the stop was still out there. So Broadcom's going through the high of the day. There was that AMD news with Broadcom. We said Micron didn't have news, but it doesn't matter if it decides it wants to resume the trend back into the upside. It is super strong, and the market's going higher. So want to play strong chip names. Daily chart probably didn't go over the daily on Broadcom. There you go. It's also breaking trend, holding the 50 period, heading back up to the high. So Broadcom looking good in that regard. Obvious resistance at $180. Cross that bridge when we get there. So simple talk break, give it to prior high, which conveniently actually sits at exactly 178.50. So we'll put it a few shekels underneath that because I don't want a $50 stop. 50 cent.
50 cent stop, yeah. Yeah, so right here with Mara, more outs at the 200 period moving average. So we'll just do bangs, for that one. And then we'll just do, because look what Nvidia is doing right here. And look what we're doing. We're trying to hold it a little bit here. So in today's high, we had mentioned that maybe we'd be looking for day's high. All right, so now the only problem here is we are out of half of our Google, but the thing is like maybe it just turned around right at 70, right? So let's just get out if we take this 50 period. We'll change and complete change of direction now on this stock. So we'll cancel our last stop, which was going to be a little bit higher. And now we'll see what this is. And we'll take a little bit into that level, but what about this one? 55 or 60, a drop through 60 maybe, and we'll be able to get out. So let's average into Google here. It's already at 72, so let's just put a bid right there. Just take back the same shares that we already got out of. So we'll take back the same shares that we got out of right there, put back our position, and then watch out for like a break. I guess a break of here, 55s. I mean, that's fine. 169.54. We'll wait to see if we can get out of that one. That would be Google dropping back in a little bit, but we've got to get long first. We just put a bid there at 72. The bottom was 75. If we're lucky enough to get that, we'll grab a fill on that one, and then we'll see what we're doing with it. So, all right, so AVGO over there. Let's check out DraftKings. That's been a name that, I've been looking at and haven't really traded it too much. It's still at these levels. So looking at this name, we've looked at it a lot over the last couple of days. We traded it a couple times. One time we got caught when it was underneath. The other time we actually shorted around, I think it was 37 or 36.80, and we're able to get that short back in right now. But it's actually doing pretty good. It is trying to bounce off this. You are at the 200 period moving average. I think this is a short, but not till 37. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. We'll put out some of the E-signal triggers to make sure that we grab that at 37. But that's a spot here that I'm somewhat interested in there on DraftKings. Looks like we do miss a little bit. It's too bad. Looks like we do miss that Google sort of bottom there by a couple pennies. That's okay. Right back up there to 88. And then, of course, this is why, man, be that trader, man. Like, sometimes when the market's being a little slow like this, you got to get a little bit out. So we did that. We're going to wait to see where we can get more out. And I think it's just if it drops through the low of the day, then we'll be able to cancel out for our Mara trade there. For our short Qs, so here's what the Qs look like. I was actually just thinking about that, to be honest with you, because you're right at these levels again. So we were already here 2 days ago. What day was this? The 25th, a couple days ago, actually. So boom, right there, we had a huge move down, and it wouldn't be surprised again if that tops. And then the reason for the huge move down, of course, is what we're all worried about in the report. So we'll have to wait to see what the big guys reporting tonight, right? CMG, Visa reports tonight, Google reports, and AMD. So that would be an excuse for this to happen again. So yeah. I actually like that for Oz. Here he is right here. Yeah, good call right there. So short the TQQ or long SQQ. So thank you for that idea. I think that as you zoom back out a little bit here, you can see that is a possible trade. So you want to always make trades that make sense. And right there against that level, I'm pretty sure that it does. So, all right, that's that. We're just hearing right now, McDonald's is getting sued a little bit here, but we expected that to happen there. So a class action for everybody affected by that. I'm sure there's enough money in the kitty for that.
Yeah, look, McDonald's is going to have enough cash. It didn't actually move on that, although McDonald's is to the downside. There was a question, someone in the chat asked why is SoFi down today? And we always say there's no such thing as good or bad earnings. There's just earnings and the market's reaction to it. They beat and had a bunch of positive growth metrics. Although if you dug a little deeper, like their member growth, that actually has been slowing. Like the rate of growth has been slowing, I think, down to about 30% year over year, and that's been like declining. But that makes a little bit of sense. So it just essentially did the breakout higher on earnings, and then once it went underneath and got red, everything just fell apart. So some of that's going to be technical, obviously. So SoFi, it is climbing, but relatively speaking, you're still underneath yesterday's lows. SoFi is still pretty unhealthy. That looks like a reversal candle to me on the daily chart. You don't have to be a charter market technician to see it. So whether or not we get to $10, $9.80 support next, or it's just going to have to settle itself down. So the reaction was, again, they just sold it off. And this has happened time and time again on SoFi, that regardless, it runs into earnings or gaps up on those earnings, and then you get that pullback. So it doesn't matter whether they beat or not. Mara broke that little trend line back under, so I got back out. If it does make another bottom, again, previous close, I would look to get back in. If it breaks back out the top, I feel like MSTR is a little bit stronger. It's trying to go above VWAP in here. It might be a little bit of a stronger move if this gets through VWAP. Let's go to Adara, I believe.
Bit of a volume spike to the downside here, rejecting off this double top for V out of its earnings tonight. Visa, according to the Wall Street Journal, is looking to lay off roughly 1,400 employees and contractors. This is part of a larger restructuring effort. These layoffs apparently will mostly impact teams in the tech, sales, and digital partnership space. So Wall Street Journal reporting some layoffs here for V ahead of their earnings tonight. Around 4:05 p.m. is when they're expected after that bell, guys.
Join Adara and I, we will have all of that this afternoon at 4 o'clock. We'll be kicking it off there. Visa is going to be an important number to come through as the year of the efficiency, I guess, with more job cuts.
Yeah.
Hitting V, we can have just a little.
They're selling it into VWAP.
To see, are they okay? Yeah, again, tricky to take positions here against earnings. We already talked about that with Google. We are trying to get a piece out actually at 93 again here. Wow, we just got missed for Google. Went to 92s. Okay, Google, I see you. It'll come back up. Hopefully, we'll be able to get out of another piece there as we bounced off the 50. So now I'm liking this a little bit more. Yeah, Visa. So good move there. Again, pretty strong name. I mean, it is primed pretty good right here. I mean, I like the fact that we hit the highs, now pulling back into the 50 period. So seems like there's going to be some support. I mean, if there was no earnings right now, I kind of like the setup bouncing and trying to head higher. So what you're really looking for now in Visa is a take of this. And then if you can take 292 now on a multiple tested top, I really want to look forward to this report coming here after hours. I think this is a perfect sign, man. High rejection, come in, nail these 50 and the 200, back up, reject again. Don't, shallow or low, boom. Possible explosion upside for Visa. And I mean, expected move is what it is, but this right here on the news story, completely separate, starting to go down. Okay, so there you go. Breaking that for us there was Adara. Okay, I mean,
yeah, it's like they're really selling.
This is just layoff plans. So they're hitting Visa now. I'm wondering if more is happening. This is a Wall Street Journal report about the layoff plans. So this seems, and guess unless it's a little bit unexpected, this is quite the move here for Visa. But look where it just stopped, right back into low of day from 930. Says no thank you. Whoever was buying it earlier that didn't know about this news is there buying it again right now. So sans that, I think we break and go a lot lower here. There it is. So trying to break lower right now. Yes. So the low of the day right now, new low of day, 282.20s, breaking lower through that now goes Visa. So Adara gave us that news minutes ago and it wasn't doing much. As Neil says, it's coming through VWAP. And then $2 later, down goes Visa. Right into that level. Market?
I feel like if it was bigger, yeah, that was news that I wasn't expecting. Otherwise, maybe you could have shorted VWAP, but I was never thinking at that.
No, of course not.
I thought so maybe like if MasterCard fell enough on that, maybe there's a bounty or like a sympathy play, because I don't want to stand in front of that. I know that 281 looks pretty good down there if you zoom out, but yeah, MasterCard's nowhere near the morning support. Like that's the thing. Like if you don't understand why Visa's selling off so much, maybe there'd be a sympathy bounce play somewhere else, like in MasterCard or I don't imagine American Express, they're not going to care. They're probably still chilling out. Yeah, exactly. AXP just doesn't care. It's chilling out at the highs like nothing happened. But maybe sometimes if it doesn't make sense, you can go to a sympathy play to try to go for some kind of a long idea. That I would have liked if you had been at support over on MasterCard, but Visa is still bleeding there. DJT, is it really just going to take out the top? Still, it will not. It's not dipping. It's going to try and take this 55. Let's look for a failed 55 break. Like, remember, this went halt down when it failed this level here this morning. So there was a wealth of selling from 54 to 55, not just in the morning. And pre-market it happened, and then again and again. And then you had a wealth of selling in here. I'm still looking for it to reject that, give one last pullback to go into a long trade. It's so disconnected from VWAP. I want to be particular about it. Nick Dub says Datadog in the chat. We moving here on Datadog? Pulling back a little bit, but like almost everything else is at the high of the day. Yeah, it doesn't report till my mom's birthday.
Too.
Snap's going to.
No, Snapchat reports tonight. Oh my God,
it's a big, and tomorrow morning's not crazy. Is not to sleep on
this
either.
This is a big one.
Datadog could be primed for its own little mini breakout, but I don't see much here today on Datadog. They don't report until, I keep saying my mom's birthday, like you guys know, on the November 7th. They don't report till the 7th. So we'll get them. That'll be Thursday of next week. Yeah, that's primed for a little bit of a breakout there on Datadog. A little bit of a pullback. I suppose that's almost breaking trend down, so I wouldn't necessarily consider that a great long opportunity. No, just the eyeballs are going to have to go back over to DJT. I'm not really liking that Visa move. Like sometimes if it doesn't make sense, you're just like, oh yeah, pick up the bid. It's still falling. Like Visa's not finding a bottom here yet. I mean, 281 was just yesterday's low. 281.50, I should say, was yesterday's low. Maybe this is where it's going to catch a bid. It's trying.
buying the dip there at Mara, now selling more on this move back up. Hopefully it continues to go higher here on MARA, right back to the 200 period moving average. So more outs on MARA as I'm at pretty much the high of the day. I mean, Google's, I'm trying to trick it. I'm trying to like wait now at 90 instead of 93, but wow, what a snoozer right there. Oh, actually, all right. We should have changed our bid. Oh man, our bid was 72, as if that gets to 75 again. Okay, we're just playing around with shares now. Like this is, for me, and again, I know I talk like this, but for me, this will be like 10% of a position. Like I'm just trying to see if we can play off this and then wait for that 170 break. And then you guys already know we're going to get stopped out right here, breaking through 56. So, you know, the fact that we rejected so many times there, probably not a very big decision right there. Where did you wind up getting out of Mara? Because you're out of that now.
It was a trail. It was actually, I mean, it was a random price, but it was, let me quickly, here. So I was just on the MS.
Because it was a trail, you had it like stopping.
Yeah, I was just on the MSTR chart, but there it goes. So like it was, so there's your trend. It then broke underneath that, so that was my trail. It doesn't end up being like, you could say it was underneath $19, but it really didn't have anything to do with the 19. That was just a local bottom in there. But it's holding above this trend line. There's a good part of me that just likes MSTR's strength a little bit better. Although it's not breaking out above VWAP. It's just not doing much. It's wild because I look over and BTC just keeps on making highs. Like that just, maybe that should be the play. MSTR obviously has been flying, but as I said, like it was one breakout that kind of didn't work, and it's trying to break this trend line, which I didn't save. There you go. It's not perfectly drawn, but you get the idea. Like I'm looking for this as Bitcoin's breaking highs. This has a distinct downward trend. Let's go. It's power hour. Let's break out the trend and go higher. I feel like MSTR, like it's begging to make this move. DJT is begging to make the breakout. That's what's in play today. I mean, it's been crypto. It's been DJT. I keep saying the nuclear names and I keep not looking at them. Maybe I'll go there in a second. But none of these are breaking out. They're just kind of going sideways here. So it's requiring us to be a bit patient, unfortunately. But that's fine. Look, man, if MSTR wants to go and finally follow Bitcoin, I'm sure it can. And we can just show you. Like the reason why it makes, I mean, obviously it makes, you could just be in Bitcoin here because we can trade IBIT. And it's just continuously making, like it just broke another high. So maybe a pullback into prior high is just the way to go. 41.65 there on Bitcoin, no question. You know, if the move isn't happening the way you want it in your proxy, so to speak, like if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to trade, I don't know, like Micron, like Micron's not doing anything, or VGO gets to the top and now it's all of a sudden not giving me what I want, you could always just go to like an ETF in that case. In this case, we could just go to Bitcoin in general. So I might just go over to Bitcoin on the next available dip. IBIT. Yeah,
exactly. You know, or you could just do what I'm doing. Right there, nice little move right there as Google again. This is not the most exciting trade. Oh man. All right, so we just buy that little dip. I mean, again, if we were waiting at 60s, where we sort of were in the first place, we'd have better price. But we waited for 75s. It was up to 85. We take another piece out right there. Average price 77. I mean, the next out is 90s, and then we wait for this to break. And at least we'll have, if it breaks, we'll have a better price, right? So that's what we're kind of waiting for here, but no promises that this does anything whatsoever. Palantir was another name I wanted to look at. Not much happening with this. We just put out tonight, big time earnings tonight, man. We've got Google, we've got First Solar, we've got AMD, we've got them all coming through there. Reddit, Visa, Snapchat, 410, CMG, AMD there tonight. So they're all coming through tonight. Go find out all those estimates right there. But yeah, Reddit really performing. $82.
Look at the weekly on that.
You want to talk about a IPO that has been just fire. Where's the here?
Gun to head, Kava, Reddit. Which one?
Where's the Kava? I mean, I take
Kava's a monster.
Well,
they're both good.
Yeah, I mean, the storm is brewing here on Reddit right now as Venus Williams gets richer and richer. Huge move to the upside right there. Boom, $60. Huge move up. We'll see what happens now with Reddit. I mean, IPO around $50. Really making those nice moves. So yeah, there goes There goes Reddit, and then forget it. And then the other one there would be tonight, which we haven't talked about. I was like, what? Snapchat right now coming through. So we'll wait to hear about that one. Possible flow through into Meta if Snapchat talks about revenues on the ad side and how that's been doing. So we'll have to wait to see if Snapchat has some sort of an effect there off of with Meta and Snapchat. So there's the nice bounce off the 50-period moving average. Wow, again, eh? So this name here, I mean, why not fill that gap, right? Right back up to the 200-period moving average. So that would be a nice move back up, in the implied move there for Snapchat, as we tweeted, there was 20%. Ay caramba, that's nice, man. So you're gonna add $2 onto 10. That does get you to that $12.50, $13 mark. So yeah, join after, man. It's gonna be a monster there.
You have up what last time was?
Today. No, previous move minus 30%.
I was gonna say something. Yeah, it moved gigantic. I knew it was gigantic the last time there.
Going again.
So just thank you very much, Nick Dubs.
Come on, Google.
With the super chat in here. Your swing trades are Mattel, MGM, AMD, ARM, TER. Thoughts on ARM at $200? Sheesh. Thoughts on ARM at $200? I mean, so do you think I think ARM is going to get to $200? I think that's on these earnings. I don't think at the next earnings it's going to get to $200. Eventually, do I think ARM's going to get to $200? Yes. Candidly, I do own ARM shares in my personal account. A lot of people will point to, and ARM is absolutely a very expensive stock on a PE basis. But that's just how it is. And it's still been performing anyway. So, yeah, whether it gets to an all-time high in any kind of, I guess, rapid fashion, I think that's a little bit unlikely given how extended it is. But I think the 170, like this 175 area is a little bit more realistic for a short-term target for ARM. They report on the 6th, right? So to think that you're not going to get, I don't think you get there before the earning, but I think getting to the 175 level, a little more reasonable expectations there. Will it get to 200 eventually? 100%. I think it's going to go there long term. I'm just probably not as optimistic as you that it can happen on these earnings, let's just say. Like, I'm not quite there. But the 200 period has been, the 200 period moving average is fantastic for ARM. That's been a great place to look for some dip buys on this one. So AVGO, it comes right into support. It cannot seem to retake the high of the day. It's just kind of slowly bleeding away. I'm not liking it as much. And that Intel breakout did sort of happen, that flat top break. There was like a, I don't know, iceberg or whatever you want to call it at 2280. They broke it out. Now can it hold back above that previous breakout price? Because that's what you got to do. Otherwise, it's just another VWAP retrace for INTC.
Oh, the money storm is happening right now as Bitcoin 73.4, and look what we did on Mara. Oops, we did it again. Right there, we'll fire off the hot dog cannon there for Mara. Hold up to 23 cents in the money right now, and just got up to 19.15. So we'll take a piece out right there now. We'll take out Google. Just went 10 cents. We'll take some more out on Google. Hopefully that will go upside. No promises on that one. We talked about Visa. The other name reporting tonight is going to be Chipotle. So we can have a quick look there. Yellen is talking about some banks. Let me just see if there's anything going on here with XLF. She's just talking about making sure the banking system can support the economy, this and that. So it doesn't look like anything's happening over here with that one. She just had some sort of an event here. As I have the Benzinga Pro platform in my ear. It doesn't be seeming to affect any of these banks. So, all right. So we were celebrating when we held Nvidia all the way back to the high of the day. So we're still in the money here. This is almost $2. We could have got out at that top. Again, it's this very, very small piece. We'll wait to see what winds up happening. But we're not doing anything until it breaks the 200 period moving average. So that's 140. We might as well just put that in right now. 141.50. So we'll put that in. And then, hey, if we only have to make $1.30, oh, well, we'll do that. 141.48 out of 100% of this. We'll put our offer into that. We just canceled our bid, which was down here. So again, this is what I just need to do better. Like our out was VWAP. This was 30 cents worth of an out to give us $1.70. So pretty good there. We probably should have, we should have held more. Google really having a hard time up here. Yeah. That's what else, you guys? Oh, SMR. So again, SMR.
There's another one going too.
I don't know. I don't even know if this is going. This is a name right here. We are I am in the money. My long is 12 and change on this. The only time I took something out, which was pretty small, was 1835. I like the space. We're down on SMR today, though, bouncing off that $22 mark. And it's kind of why I'm not nervous about Palantir, but it's kind of like we've already seen this top. I did get some out of Palantir. You guys remember that? I think it was 43 or 44. I'm going to double check it. But I'm just wondering right here, we bounced off 22. We bounced off 22 here today as well for SMR. All right, we're into power hour now. So let's see what winds up happening. Getting lighter and lighter on Mara as that comes in again. So there's a good out for us on Mara. Getting ready to drop it. We have about 30% left, no less. We have about 20% left of this position on Mara. So yeah, just relaxing here into the close, getting ready for what's going to be a big recap show.
It's going to be a massive one for sure with all those earnings to go through. Like every time you think that you've heard them all, then you drop a couple more. I didn't even remember that we had Reddit, which is going to be a big one, that recent IPO. DJT just pulled back. First time that's actually making a significant pullback back into this $53 level here on DJT. So let's see if we can hold on to the even dollar. I don't know what's going on with the countdown. I guess that's counting down to when we have the early look on the imbalances at 3:30, which will be in about 25 minutes or so. So we'll let you know how those go. Not really expecting anything all that crazy.
That's the clock to the
what do you think it's
eventual market demise. You have 24.
Oh, it's like it's a doomsday clock.
Doomsday, good one. That's
the fattest fat finger. No, the fattest fat finger ever would not be like. There's worse, but like the one that kills the stream would be the fattest fat finger ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
In order to hit the stream, he has to hit many different options.
It's kind of like your flattened key shouldn't just. It should be a keystroke
today, so that didn't really have. I mean, although the market is taking purple as green for sure because up 1% right now and starting to go a little bit here.
ES not so much because the banks were having a rough day. Yeah. I didn't really check to see what energy was doing.
They were down. Well, I just thought JP Morgan was down 8.8. What is the ES? Yeah, 0.8.
Yeah, I just
that
checked
is
JP.
the problem.
The problem is on my quote board. The only bank I have on my quote board is JP Morgan, so I just see that down. I'm like, well, if JP's down, then the sector's down, which is usually, that's lazy work, but it's usually right. So like a lot of times it's like work faster, not harder. So a bit of a bounce here on DJT off of the 53 level, just trying to hold on to a higher low. It hasn't really done it yet, as you're still a little bit weak on this pullback. And it could easily go into VWAP. It wouldn't have to halt to get to VWAP here on DJT. But if it's going to make this nice little reversal candle off this 53, I might try to slip in here in the off the quarters, which it hasn't really gone back into. I just realized it's not on my chart. But yeah, DJT pulling back into 53. There was a resistance at the 54 level. It snapped one time back through. It doesn't seem like it wants to get to the quarters. Maybe some Larry Bird action. And we'll get a small piece in off of Larry Bird and then see if it makes some kind of a push back into that 53. The Broadcom's still going sideways. BTC is continuing to go higher. There's a Larry Bird song? No, I don't know Larry Bird song. His number is 33. That's why I said it, Fabian. There. I'll just say that for the prices. Like 32.
Next time, just say Alonzo Mourning.
Zoe?
Yeah, he's number 33, wasn't he?
Alonzo Mourning had one of the greatest, his debut had one of the greatest stats of all time. The first 21 times Alonzo Mourning touched the ball in his NBA career, he either shot it or turned it over. He didn't pass the ball once.
That makes sense.
But that's how he rolled. He was a great player.
Yeah, very good player for sure. That Dwayne Wade statue was really wrecked, man. I don't understand. People seem to be losing their jobs for that.
That was
when Tradertv.live puts mine up. If it looks anything like that, I mean, that's
bad.
We're out of here. Okay, let's just see what this NASDAQ looks like. Oh yeah, about that. These were shorts. Hey, we're short. And can we believe we're up on this trade? It's because, again, it was that early short that we were feeling in the market. And that was really led to this huge move. Not even huge. It was about, I think it was about 80 handles or so. That was that very bottom. And we actually had basically the top and the bottom of this move as we planted the purple flowers, but then pretty much gave it back as we moved all the way back up here before eventually breaking that pre-market high, which was a good thing we were able to get out of it because then there you go, and you continue to march higher. I think it's, I don't want to say fool's gold or anything like that, but it's going to be pretty risky there to think about where we're going on this play. And what I mean by that is like, you really want to go short here into the close when we have AMD that's reporting aftermarket, that's up 3%. We have, right now. This is what we're doing, Neil. Oh boy, there it is again right now. Nice play for Google. Let's go. Nice play for Google right there. I mean, we got our reload there, so we're back in it right there. Boom to the upside. We're giving those winners again here today, man. This is the kind of trading that you're here for. Thank you for watching, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. There goes Google, boom. Nice move there, right back there to the upside. Let's see if Google now breaks that 70 level, but hey, no worries, guys. We're just out of half of the reload again. So you see what I'm saying? We make 15 or 20 cents right there on that half, then we reload that half again. So in what is only a 25-cent move, we make 30 cents. So nice move up there for Google. Let's see what happens now. I'm going to get out of another piece now at 99 and then wait to see what happens now for Google. Bitcoin going upside, Mara going upside, everything groovy right now here in Katina land.
Yeah, that's what I love to see,
And
making that
Nvidia.
power. What was I going to say? Bitcoin made that fresh high of the day, like you mentioned there. Someone was asking what the implied move. I'll get there in a second. I just want to go over DJT. The implied move on Alphabet. Someone was asking, but DJT, it caught another higher low off that 53, so 53.20. Got Larry Bird. It is what it is. Want to get some out prior low. So if you look at the range when this was going sideways, 54 change highs. 53.50 bottom, scalp there, get out in front of the 54 level. Broadcom is only now getting back. I mean, it's just being dragged up by the market. So it pulled back in, held this prior low, so reloaded there. Could have reloaded on the other end. We ended up on that's actually on the front end. Should be on the back end when you get that. Let it bounce off that prior level and then get long. You end up with the same price, but you actually get it as it's curling back up. Doesn't matter when it works, but it does matter when it doesn't work. Is the best way to think about it. So still want to get some out into a 179 break, looking for that to press. I mean, Nvidia is pressing through highs. The market's pressing through highs. I'm going to make the assumption, I mean, AMD, which reports after earnings, is pressing to the highs as we currently speak. So like I said, DJT was the only new entry point off of that hold of 53, higher low 53.2, which it looks like it wants to challenge right now. Well, I don't like that. I'm going to literally not even letting it break. Not even letting it break. So the best way to think about it is it's gonna I'm not short DJT, but when it just curled here, my stop was underneath 53 even, and then I saw it just looking like it was cascading down. It's like, no, that's a punch. That's a punch out. So it's good because I had to take profit out, it's gonna say that's gonna code that to a short trade, but that's because I just punched right out. And again, that's just the difference between getting out at 53.15 and getting out at 52.84. You can have a stop order all you want, but if you're watching the stock and it's like there's no reason to get out of the long right now, you just punch it. That was purely the nastiness in the tape. Now we have to wait in for VWAP there. So very, very quick loss of the bid, but you got to be quick, and that's why you always have level 2s up of the stocks that you're trading. Even if you're trading multiple stocks, I'm always going to want to have a level 2 up for anything that I'm going to be in, because you could easily see that bid drop on DJT.
All right. So Google does break. We got some O's. We just got some more down here at 95s. So, and that'll be it, man. We're not going to go too crazy. And I just put the stop order. Oh no, I got to sort my order log here by time. I just, here we go. Hold on. I unsorted it.
You should be able to make it static.
Yeah, you click it by accident, and that's what happens. Okay, so I was just going to give it only to this. So I actually broke it through 75. If we break down below right there, then we'll get out. So we're long at 92 right now on Google. Looks like a failed break there. It only gets as high as 07s, but that's fine. We like the trade. We want to be in it, so we're in it. And that's how I'm operating right now with Google. Stay in the trade because I like it. So we'll stay in it for now. If it breaks that low, then we're out. Like I said, we'll be near the highs of the day for us, so we're just kind of playing around right now. That break is probably, well, I can not tell you probably, we're in about 20 to 25% of a position like that we probably would have had in the AM. But we're going to go long here on Google and see if that continues to work. What is Amazon
I think
doing?
we're pretty much, the all-time high is, I think, here, basically.
For what, Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, it's getting real.
Yeah, 73.7 something is the all-time high.
Yeah, so I have a daily chart up. If you want to see where we're sitting at, I mean, I can throw a 1 minute. You just got to, come on, Trading View, like 73.2 something like that. Maybe we got to and just pull back a little bit. So you are breaking that high of the day imminently. Oh, yeah, AVGO 179 even. Check that. It just got some out in front of the even dollar. There's somebody selling. Look, AVGO is never going to have a wall of shares like an Nvidia would, but there was an order there at the 90s. It's now breaking through that top. But I think Bitcoin making an all-time high is going to be spicy. I don't want to call it exactly 42 because I don't know for sure that that's going to be the price, but it's in and around 42 on IBIT is going to be that break of the all-time high on Bitcoin. So we'll look at it live. It's not there yet, but we are getting very, very close to that fresh all-time high for BTC. So
Congratulations!
Yeah.
to anybody that is long Bitcoin, and let's see where it goes from here. Everyone's been waiting a while for this to finally break that trend. It's here, and whether or not we get to 100,000, I mean, it's a matter of time. Whether or not we get there by the end of the year, I'd like to think I like 93. Just I don't know. They had some technicals. I mean, Michael Noss had some technicals that said way bigger than that, but I simply looked at it from the bottom of the channel, breakout to the top. He was doing like a cup and handle thing. I think 93 makes a lot of sense technically. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Yeah, we were just talking about if you, oh, wow, okay. Right, we were just talking about Bitcoin there and what was happening over there. But meanwhile, Google, we get the high of the day. So a little bit of diamond hands there waiting for that. So let's wait to see now if we can get a little bit higher. We were long at 92, remember. Now my price is going to go the other way. It's going to average up. Because we had a great dip buy opportunity that happened first, and then the punch was second. So, seconde, we are waiting at 170.25s right now for the quarter marker there on the biggest and the baddest, that is Google. And of course, there is the curse of all curses, as now Bitcoin almost turns directly off of its highs. So there it is. Here's Bitcoin, the one-day chart right now for Bitcoin. You can see that high right there of 73.8, 73.7, again, depending on what we're talking about. But right there bounces completely off of it. So boo, right into there.
Boo is correct.
So that is going to be, 73 and change. This says 73,697 or so. But at the end of the day, there it is. It's going to go back right back up to the upside. So we'll see. Try to take that out right now. 73.2 and change. There goes BTC one more time. So again, congrats, man, to everybody. Wow, congrats to me, I guess, and anybody else. We mentioned there, Neil said, well, I don't know what else to look at or what we're dip buying there. And I said, we're dip buying Google. Follow this train. And that's what's happened right there. It is.
Another one.
There goes Google. Oh, boy. Nice move up, man. Let's just keep our hands off so we don't get too excited there. All right, up to 23s right now. This has been the dip buy of the afternoon. We talked about it. We don't normally trade earnings plays, but there goes Google again. So, I mean, we'll host, we'll trade, we'll put on some winners, and that's one for you guys. So that is another one right there. We'll just drop down some money signs because it was a good trade. Out there, 23s. We just got 23s out right now as we'll hold on to now half of that trade there for Google. So I hope everybody enjoyed that ride to the upside there. Nvidia was only $2 in the money, so that's a trade as well that we've been watching out for the high of the day break. That looks like it's going to happen. Mara, you know what? With crypto doing its thing, I have no idea why Mara's going down, so let's just offer out right there and get filled through 97 and get out of Mara and put that one on the board now as well. So it's Nvidia, $2 in the money. And for everybody out there, you know, there's going to be a lot of traders that talk the talk, but I'm just trying to show you that that walk is possible. And the thing is like, we talked about the trade. There it is again, there it is again, there's again. So we're doing this all the time. If you're here for the first time, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and come again because so I can continue to prove to you what we're doing here. So there it goes, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. And I hadn't had my poppy on because I should have. I took it off because I don't want to lose it every time I'm going outside and walking around here. So there it is. We'll put it back on. But shout out
I have that same problem.
to remembrance.
I have one. My only request for the poppy is like, do like the safety pins different thing. Like it's like if it had
I do
that
have
on
my
there.
other one. I gave that one to Marissa.
Yeah, I used to have one and then I lost it. So what do we like to dip by? I like the AVGO and it's broken through a 179. It just got to the quarter, so it's about 65 pennies in the money. 180 is an obvious level. Oh yeah, not split adjusted there, but 180 is an obvious psychological level and a round number. When you zoom it out, it's also real support or resistance, I should say, on Broadcom. So it's a bit of a reversal. You know AMD is the big one, aftermarket, and there was a connected story. Heck, you could have gone long AMD. The preference was not to have to mess around with the name that's actually reporting, but 4% there. And Broadcom, if AMD makes a hefty pullback, I would look to probably get out of Broadcom. I think there could be some sympathy. It doesn't have to happen. We're sitting at 320. It is curling up and still going. I did check back in on Intel, and you probably should have been along at that 2280 level. There was like an iceberg seller here at 2280. It broke. It dipped back in. It only went about 10 cents, but you probably only had to risk 5 on Intel. So if you're looking at trend reversal, again, there was news that I thought was bad that the market decided was good. And Intel has now gone from the worst chip stock to somehow almost going to go green. But it doesn't matter what your interpretation of the news is. Price action and price don't lie at the end of the day. And if you get so wrapped up on what you think should happen on a move, I've known some traders. I've seen a trader that's like, but these earnings were good. Why is it selling off? And they're like, buy, 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 buy. And that trader is no longer here. So it doesn't matter what you think about the news. Just watch that price action. I mean to check back in on Visa at some point. But now that you've made a break of the high, now can set up a bit of a new trend that's forming here. Oh, of course, just when the chart opens a new candle, I have to then do this. There we go. Now break of the new high. If we lose the trend since making that local bottom and the break of the new high, I'll jump out. That right now sits underneath about 179.10 or so on Broadcom as it's getting to the $0.50 now. So looking for that top to be 180. It's at that first $0.50. What's going on in MSTR? Just lost a bid. I have a level.
Bitcoin's getting back in. Baby.
Oh, that's why. There it is. Okay, yeah. No, I just had a level 2 of MSTR up, and I looked over. I'm like, why is? You can see when something's really moving. And no, not that I was going to trade it, and it doesn't break the trend. So no break of the trend, no long in MSTR. I guess it's just sitting it out. Yeah, I mean, it's now red on the day. That's sort of the thing. When MSTR is outpacing Bitcoin on the way up, then when you get the breakout, a lot of profit comes in, and there's some hedging that goes on, obviously, between Bitcoin and MicroStrategy.
All right, guys. Yeah, exactly. Good point there about hedging. I mean, that's the other thing they always consider here when we're talking about what we're looking at as far as trades are concerned. You know, you got to think about who's on the other side of some of these trades. So look at this out. Let's effing go right now. I mean, how much did we save right there on that out alone on Mara? Boom. Like, again, you know, to being able to go short, which we could have done just by flipping it, but still, like that for me right there, pretty clutch out there on Mara. All right, so we have about a third left of our Google. We just took some out there at 10 as it fell back in just a little bit. I've switched my stop now into 85 break. We're long at 95. This will keep us very, very green on the name. And I just tweeted it out, man. This is what we've been trading here into the afternoon. So let's just stay on point with what we've been doing and stay on brand and just trade what I think to be the best opportunities. And then Nvidia is still that $2 in the money and going higher and higher. So we'll have to watch out. Let's go back over and have a quick look at DJT again. So trying to hold VWAP again and not trying to does hold it very, very nicely, actually at 51.50 right there coming through for DJT. So watch out for that one. 51.80, 51.90, I guess, is more what VWAP is. I will give to you exactly what we have there. 51.72 or so. And we almost bounced off to the penny on that one. You know, I was looking at this earlier, like Coinbase wasn't really doing what I thought it might do considering what Bitcoin was doing. Like Bitcoin just breaks now, and it wasn't even at the high. It wasn't even where it was off the open. So something's happening right now. Not that something's happening, but Coinbase is making a move down. I would say watch out for very much weakness in Coinbase if crypto, for some reason, can't get back going. Anything back up to VWAP or the 200 or anything like that, I actually really like a downside push right there for Coinbase coming in a little bit there. So Yeah, wow.
They
There
report
goes
tomorrow.
Nvidia. Yeah, $2 now in the money right there. I know you got AVGO as well. Google's trying to go back up, and there goes Nvidia. Again, P&L number 1 today will be Palantir. Number 2 right behind it there, Nvidia, joined by Google, and then we'll watch out for the Qs. But yeah, big name ahead there. Good trade for AVGO and a good trade there for Nvidia. We'll have to wait to see if Google gets back up to highs.
Everything. I mean, it's outside of that little hiccup in Bitcoin going to literally its all-time high. I mean, a pullback off of an all-time high. When was the first time? When was the last time we saw that happen? It happens all the time. So that you're looking for that breakout. Everyone's jazzed up for the breakout. It doesn't go. Every time we get a new press through the high, I'm just moving my trail until we get into the top quartile, the last quartile, into that 80 level. And at that point, I'm just going to look for the out in front of 180 on AVGO. Again, a bit of a rounded bottom into a trend. If it loses, it's about 179.30 or so that we would get out. It's just sitting at the $0.50 right now. But that was a hefty pullback. And there was a little bit of a bounce there in Bitcoin. I know I keep saying Bitcoin and then showing you guys IBIT. It's just easier here to show you IBIT. Big liquidity grab at the top, and then again here at the 41.5 level. Maybe kind of like 73,000 is starting to hold in that 73,000 even, maybe just a little bit underneath that. But I don't know that I want to catch that. When you have an all-time high sort of fail break this late in the session, my gut is telling me, and we say this time and time again, is Bitcoin really going to break the all-time high when traditional equity markets are open? Or is it going to do it when we broke out that trend yesterday, which was in the aftermarket? So I tend to think that the aftermarket is going to be the case. So I don't know that I want this long, and I'm not going to try to catch the falling knife here. It might still bounce, but I feel like the break of a high might come after. So any long would have to be to the high. And if the long is, so I'll go back to my 3-minute, if the long is to the high, it needs some kind of a very, very tight entrance to risk. So I was just looking at that $0.50, like I'd have to already be in at like 55. Like it's got to be 55 to 50 because you're trying to get a push that's going shy of the high of the day there. And I think that's where my gut is leaning, that you're just not going to get that breakout. Obviously, we had mentioned DJT, which was playing off of this higher low at 53, and then saw the tape fall out. That's trying to bounce off of VWAP. But the way that that sold right in here, I don't want any part of that long. The way the bid just dropped, don't like it. Don't have to be on the bid when you see the bid drop like that. The market is absolutely flying. You see the chip names are going in here. There's no need to be fighting something that seems like it wants to only go down even further. Looks like Visa was a buy at 281. I mean, go figure. It's not like there was, you're not pulling a rabbit out of a hat. That's just essentially where the bottom was yesterday, and it got a nice recovery in Visa. I would still say for most traders, it's going to be, oops, I meant to go MA. Usually easier to go into like some kind of a sympathy play, but in this case, it never gave you the opportunity on MasterCard. These are going to be worth watching tomorrow's trade for any kind of continuation on Visa. That was very volatile, and I think more volatile than expected. So I'm going to have that on the back burner. So I said if we got into that top quartile into 180, that's where the target is going to be. I'm not sitting on the offer, but I am getting out if we lose the top of the quartile here. I just like saying that. So 180 was resistance on Broadcom, got a rounded top. The other way to play this too is it can do a rounded bottom. It can do a rounded bottom, and then this can be an add when it goes through this consolidation bottom, so it holds a prior high. That one there, and then it rounds back up. You maybe add to it. I elected not to, but now I'm trailing underneath this 179.75, and it's the only thing we're left in because I was like, okay, I want a DJT. I mean, it didn't lose, but it didn't really work. Like it went in the money 30 cents, and then I stopped out for like I think it was 18 pennies, but it ended up being a flat trade because I only got out 1/3. So it ends up being pretty much a flat trade, maybe pay some fees in there on that punch out, but now back to the downside. So DJT, I think a little bit of a nothing burger this afternoon, unless you were short. I suppose that could have worked out for you. Yeah, that IBIT's still coming in here. IBIT doesn't look that great. Like IBIT's still pulling back. You're barely holding on to 41.5. It wouldn't be crazy if you saw a VWAP retracement. So if you're looking at MSTR is continuing to bleed down. Let me just double check on Mara. Yeah, Mara is now back underneath trend and at the low of the day. The miners have been very, very weak, everybody. You know, they never really participated in the move here at all today. So I think a bit of a disappointment. Let me know what you guys are trading, anything you guys are looking at. And I see some questions in the chat. Why isn't Nvidia going down? It's Bitcoin that's going down right now. You know, the chip names are strong. AMD's at high of the day. I just got tagged out of Broadcom. I mean, we already showed, I mean, Intel was even starting to go. Micron was at the high of the day. All the chips are strong. The NASDAQ's at the high of the day. The ES is at the high of the day. The only thing pulling back is crypto because of that test of the all-time high on Bitcoin. So I'm out, going to ring the register there. We said once we got up into that top 25 cents into 180, we'd throw the trail out. So out at 75 on AVGO, and we'll look for what might be next. But before we do that, let's get up to Adara, a little bit of sector watch.
We're going to take a look at the larger movers to the upside and downside on the S&P 500. I like to have a theme for this segment. So for today's theme is going to be earnings names that we haven't discussed as much, making those larger outside moves. So we're going to start with Waste Management. WM, near high of day, is up more than 5%. They beat for sales and for earnings per share. They also expected their revenue growth here for fiscal 2024 higher than expected. So stronger than expected guidance and a beat, sending WM to the upside. We also have RCL. This one a little bit removed from its day's highs, but Royal Caribbean, still a great look here, up more than 3%. They did beat for earnings per share, but missed for sales. Stronger than expected guidance for fiscal 2024 earnings per share. So good look there for RCL. Last but not least, PYPL, PayPal. This one was down about 7% at its lows. Currently still down about 3.5% here. They beat for earnings per share, but they missed on sales. Their guidance was a bit mixed here as well. They said that they do expect apparently to see a 15 to 20% increase in buy now, pay later, but they expect lower volume for Braintree, which is one of their payment partners. They also think their revenue growth in Q4 is going to be a little bit lower, but then it'll reaccelerate there for 2025. So weak Braintree guidance and a sales miss, sending PYPL to the downside, guys.
I'm blaming PayPal for something right now.
Yeah, let's do
So
that.
this is 100. I mean, this might not be true, but I'm just going to say it's true.
It is true.
It is 100% PayPal's fault
It is not
that
true.
Block did not break out this high. I mean, what more could you ask for? You had crypto going today. You had 75 even is the obvious breakout spot on the daily chart.
Yeah.
We got to, is that right? $75.01 on Block. So because of PayPal, there's no breakout on Block. For shame, PayPal. Although, you know what? You can say all you want about PayPal being red today. There we go. That was an impressive bounce for PayPal. And it did it twice. So like I know it's down 3.5%, but this was at 70. This is a real wick in the pre-market. It went down to like 73, 74, all the way back to 84. The conference call comes on, it dips in, holds 78, right back to 84. Comes back in, holds 77, right back to 81. So I would almost argue that like the dip buy traders did really well today on PayPal, down 3.5%, be darned. But yeah, that breakout on Block, which has been looming for quite some time. And candidly, I still own some Block shares from really a long time ago. And I've been looking for this to finally join the party, break out to 75, and then make a run at the highs, and I can make a decision about them. But absolutely nothing happening there. Tony Price is a SoFi shareholder. I am feeling like that poor girl trapped in a relationship with an abusive, short-selling boyfriend. You know what? I think that's more akin to a Rivian shareholder than a SoFi shareholder. Want to know why? Because SoFi at least went up to be able to pull back. That's the difference.
I could change her, I swear.
Okay, yeah. All right, we'll pass on
Fabian,
that.
no.
All right, 169.95. Let's go again, man. It is a face slapper right there on Google as, again, you know, good moves. We've talked about wanting to hold things a little bit longer. We've talked about, like, you know, trying to make plays that make sense. We talked about buying 170 calls and things like that. So this has been obviously a pretty nice move here, back up to the upside for Google as we wait for earnings here after hours. So Good move up for Google as it continues to go higher, still in Nvidia. There, nice retracement pullback now for Mara. I mean, you did have that flush down as Bitcoin took 73 and still well under that now at 72.7. You can see it right there. Ethereum holding up okay at that level, 26 and change. But at the end of the day, Mara did flush through there. Mara red on the day with a nice Bitcoin. Wow, okay. Yeah, man, we'll fire off the hot dog cannon again because there goes Google. Like, you guys want to... I've tweeted this out. You know, we like this stock. I mean, fell into the 50-period moving average. Like I said, we're not here, definitely not here for our pretty face. We're here to show you some of these winners and, you know, to show you what trading is all about. And right there, boom, believe. Just follow your rules. We almost got stopped out, right? Our stop out was 85. It went down as low as 93s. And now the bounce higher into the high of the day. So we're just trying to follow rules again and just do what we're doing. But this is kind of a little bit of a break of a rule right now. We're not going to have really a red name on board today. And this Google just rifles right up the board again. Not something that was on if you're looking for some trade ideas. Every morning we had on here, we had the Mara long, of course. We had that TQQ short, which was huge. We had the Palantir short is the play of the day. It is the number one. Regardless of, like, you know, you're going to look over here and see like, okay, this guy has $2 winner on Nvidia, but I've already talked about that. You know, this trade here being short there at 44.85 and then this break right here at 44.50, hard to see it unless I zoom in. Like, these were big shares. Like, these are the trades that we're talking about. So, like, you know, we told you that right here is 9.32 and I said the joke, like, now we're done for the day. You know, we only right now making it all back as we had to battle back with Google and Nvidia and all that. So we gave some back there trading the TQs and stuff like that. So as we come into play here, watch out just for some of those plays, like some of the shares that I have on board. And I don't, again, you can always ask me, smaller positions, but the fact that we reloaded this means it was a much bigger position for me. But the thing about what gives me the confidence in putting on trades is having reliable software and reliable data. So you see, often I'm going to be looking up and say, what is the 52-week high? What is the 52-week low? What are the level breaks? Did we get to that level today? I like eSignal, Winning Chart Tools. They have an app. You can program in your broker to execute trades. 50 plus brokers right there. Just a really easy to use scanners, different platforms and things like that. And starting right now, I'm the only one on the floor using this, but we will have Neil, Sharif, Joe, all of the hosts of Dara there as well. We'll be having this on their platform come November 1st. So I've been really excited to have this, hopefully, with everybody else. Scan the QR code there. Grab the free trial. eSignal is pretty cool. It's an entitlement-based platform, so you want to go over there and look at Europe or, you know, LVMH or ASML is a great example, or anything happening over there with some of the German automakers and things like that. They'll give you those live quotes, back testing and all of that. So it's just a really super reliable. And again, you can trade and chart on the CME like you can't do that on Trade Ideas, so on and so forth. So there's going to be different things available. Professional platform for professional traders. I've been using that for 22 years.
You can do really good pairs stuff on there as well.
Stamp of approval. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so maybe you're, I don't know, like if you're maybe looking at a pairs relationship between like an ETF and a stock, or two stocks within an ETF, they have some really good functionality for that too. I know traders that have actually developed stuff and just try to do some mean reversion when you get pairs trades along those lines. So hey, it's all there for you 100%. We always look at the early look for the imbalances at this time, just to see if there's anything there. You never really know. Right now, TFC sell 1 million, SLB 900,000, and Visa, this could get interesting only because there was that news on Visa. It's currently a sell imbalance of 670,000 on Visa, and it's a pretty thin stock in terms of like the actual liquidity. So I know it's on 4.5 million shares, and it's a 660,000, which without that much paired on Visa. Whether or not you think that them doing restructuring and cutting some costs by layoffs warrants this. Obviously, you're going to do that for reasons. Doesn't necessarily bode well for what you think demand is going to be. But yeah, Visa pulling back. Currently a sell imbalance. Is just the early look. You don't really know. I feel like we dodged a bullet. Only traded two things in the afternoon. But I think a bullet dodged. That DJT, like when it lost that bid at 53, it just didn't look right. and comes in. Now it's back underneath VWAP, testing the 51 level. Now, anybody that's long this from basically anywhere on the daily chart doesn't care too much about this pullback. But there was a lot, and we said this when it happened in the pre-market, there was an extraordinary amount of pre-market volume. A lot of pre-market volume. You know, you would think that most of that got wiped out in the pullback into 44. That's my guess. But you're still seeing maybe some of the dip buys from earlier are going to start taking some profit in here after you had such a precipitous drop. So massive move there. As I said, I would get out of a Broadcom before 180. It's still going. The chips are super strong right now. And it did tag 180 change and got up into this resistance from last week. So that'll be a strong one. You have a nice little, we like to call it a rounded bottom here for Broadcom, like previous support in the 77, rounded bottom, higher low 77, breakout the top, maybe some room to a 181 on AVGO. That's the fun thing about these splits. I mean, Broadcom, okay, maybe we haven't traded Lamb very much, but you know, Chipotle did a split. We're still waiting on Netflix, everybody. It would be nice for Netflix to do a split, but it just makes, you get a little more day trading action on it. Options are cheaper for everybody, which is always going to be a good thing. With only 10 minutes to go, we'll see if there's some imbalances. I might have my eyeballs on Visa, like I said, currently a sell imbalance after that restructuring news and some layoffs.
Yeah, CMG, Snapchat. I mean, Snapchat should be an interesting one. Snapchat's last move, last time, 26% implied mover here for Snapchat today. Let's have a quick look at what the implied move is. 19.7%. Join me tonight as Adara and I. What was that, Fabian? Please adjust your mic.
Never.
All right. Okay. Tonight, Tuesday, here we go. October 29th is today. The date is Tuesday. We have here Google, so they're going to be the biggest one. Just a small $2.1 trillion market cap. Visa, then aftermarket close, AMD, and here's the implied moves right here. So a lot of you are asking about some of the implied moves, so I wanted to call this up for you just so you could see what we're dealing with tonight. AMD is right here, 7.9. So here's the, I guess I can hold it over here. That'd be good. Okay. So, all right, Nova Nordisk, I believe that was before market. Okay, so aftermarket Striker, we're not too worried about that. There's CMG right here, 8.1% right there. PayPal's already had its move, obviously, before market. That was expecting 9. They only got 3 there for those guys. Royal Caribbean, of course, was before market open, 3% there today for Royal Caribbean. After that, we have to go to that next page. To get Snapchat. I really got to disable all these pop-ups. There must be a way to do that. All right, FSLR, there it is right there. Aftermarket close, 6.8%. So that's another name.
That's it.
Here is Snapchat. So then there it is right there, 26%. Just a small little percentage point there. With its last move, 26. This move, 21. So we'll see if that comes through. Tenet Healthcare this morning, 15%. That's really trading well there. And there is Reddit. That should be interesting. Only 13. I mean, I'm saying only 13 billion. I have no idea what the appropriate market cap for them would be, but 13 billion right there for Reddit. So room to run, I would think, for Reddit as it's right there. So that's just, you know, some interesting names coming through, and most of them today are right at the jump. So join us just at 4 o'clock. AMD should hit right away. That should be a big one for us as well. And then Google, which I'm in right now, which is back up to, here I was saying, I can't find it. There it is. Which is back up to highs again, and there is another out. So we'll just go on that one as it makes its move all the way back up. And, you know, trading with a little bit lesser of a position, allowing me to be sort of chilled out here and talk to you guys about these trades makes a lot of sense as we wait for these bigger moves higher for Google. With Neil mentioned already, we have the close coming right up. So those imbalances are going to definitely play a part of the closing prints. So we'll have to wait to see. I've changed this to watch the 50-period moving average, so I'm going to adjust this now. A breakthrough. All right, a breakthrough. Well, we don't have that many shares left. Okay, so right now, I'm not sure how many we have out of all of this. We've made enough money that this is now my 3rd biggest stock today, so that's really good. We only have on, let's just say, about 15% left of this trade. So we'll hold now into the close and see if it wants to get a little bit higher here. That's Google, and it's trading quite well here into earnings. And AMD is the other name, right?
Speaking of, it's hilarious because as you say, Google, AMD, all into highs on earnings. One of the names you put in there, and I got to check to see, I just tried to find out if something happened to solar names at about 245 today.
Yeah.
Because First Solar, as you just mentioned, was another name reporting. Yeah, this is 245, and First Solar, which was in the midst of a bounce. Now, this could be technical. Granted, at the open, this rejected 206 half, and it did a false break of 206 and then dumped into $200. It could just be that. It could be, I don't know. We've been talking about it's implied, and I'm not, look, whatever happens with the election happens with the election, but there is an implicit that it would be bad for the solar names if the Dems lose, right? So that's in there. I think that's kind of baked in at this point, but that does not look good that they just sold it off right into the lows when it was catching a bit of a bounce. I didn't see any news there on the solar names in particular. Ari Pages. That's a great question. I'd hate it. I'm going to answer. I just answered. Hey, brother. What up, Ari? How would you and Sean feel if you had to trade from home alone? Would it really suck compared to the fun of trading from an office with the team? So you started in 02, I started in 03. Outside of the fact that it just would be weird and different, like you're still also doing it alone. I remember when we were early doing the show, there was a day that I had like vertigo. I woke up with vertigo, and I remember like, oh, do you want to remote in? And I tried remoting in and just trying to trade from like my laptop. It was like my keys were all off, like everything just felt different. Like it didn't essentially work, but it's not the same. It's just not the same, and it's more of a habit. Like you can get used to anything, I would think, and you can make anything work. Absolutely. I think there's a huge advantage to being able to have other traders that you can talk ideas through, that you can see maybe I might miss something that's moving in one place, like BTC's breaking out, but MSTR is going down. You might miss something another trader mentions it to you. I think that's what you want, but you can get that from home by simply watching us and having a community like the TraderTV Live community. That's where it comes from. So you can get that part of it just by being a part of a community like us. Now, whether or not you're as comfortable with your home setup as I would be here, I can't say that I would be. I definitely wouldn't love it as much because I'm so used to like this keyboard setup, the multiple layout. All I got is a laptop at home, which made it hell awkward. I was like, I'm not doing this again. Like the keys are all off. I like the keys up high where I'm not going to make keystrokes. The laptop keyboard's crap for that.
So I think you almost answered, like, would you rather trade on a laptop or rather trade here? I think if you had a home office, I think it would be a little bit of a different story because I just want to note that we haven't had a full floor here in years. So for me, it's been like that since COVID. COVID has really changed the game and given a lot of traders the opportunity to trade from home and preferred that. So for me, I don't know. I mean, I would be fine doing that anyways. I mean, I kind of trade my own style and my own thing here. So for me, I think it would be fine. But yeah, I mean, to each their own. You know, you got to do what you're doing. And I mean, that is essentially why TraderTV Live exists. To give you that experience of being on a trading floor and trading with a professional here. So that's what we're doing every single day. I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you, Ari Page. It's a great question. So for me, yeah, the problem is I'd be easily distracted. So that would be my problem from working at home. But I could definitely do that, and we'll be doing it one day, right? So all right, so here goes Google. Right now at high of days, man. This is going to be, again, a pretty easy. Martina, one day I will be leaving you, but not for a minute. That give me at least 6 months. There's a nice move up there. Google 170, nice move up there, right into the high of the day goes Google. So nice trade there. The TQs, man, continues to motor. Wow, were we dead right about? We even wrote it down here. Early feels on the short here on the sticky note turns into disaster feels if you didn't get out because the market sort of retraced right on its side and then moved upwards. We battled around this 75, 50 area, and now we're starting to go upwards again on the futures and starting to take out some of these levels as we get higher and higher and higher here on the NASDAQ. Still $2 here on Nvidia. Probably going to think about taking some out on that one. But Neil, this one is the banger right now as Google continues to go. We stay in the trade. It's going to the upside. We told you we had 15%. Now we have about 10% left as it continues higher into the close there. That's pretty dead on. I mean, we said we'd only want to trade really one name here, so we did that here into the close, Google. So I'm going to work on getting out of that one. Nvidia, our stop is embarrassingly low, and let's just change that right now. What about if we break right here just to get out of it? I got to go get ready for the show. All right, how about 71s? We'll do that one. 141.69er. We'll get out of the last little piece here on Nvidia and then see if we can't ring the register a little bit higher, including the day's high. With only 30 seconds to go before the imbalances.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Dwayne was like, what are the imbalances? I'm like, no, we still have some time. I mean, it's only 30 seconds, as Sean just mentioned. I'm going to keep an eye on Visa, just in case. But NVIDIA always, if there's a big tech name lately that has an imbalance, it's been NVIDIA, but it's been in the 1 to 2 per 2 million range. You want 4 to 5. I just saw GDX pop up here, and I have not seen GDX on the imbalance locator earlier. It just popped up here for 2 million shares. That's the first time I've seen it. I can't tell you whether that's significant enough for GDX because it's not like I only put Amex on here just recently. Nvidia is a 2.2 million sell, 2.3 million sell. The SQs, you don't see that very often, 1.7 million buy. Lucid's a buy of 2 million. That makes no sense. ADT, so really don't usually see SQs, the 1 million to the buy side, and Nvidia 2 million sell. Apple 700,000 sell, AMD 700,000 sell. Those are not gigantic, not that significant. Visa didn't come out as anything. Lucid being 2 million buy, remember it's like a $2 stock now, so that's not all that significant. But GDX, which in that last second was there, 350 hits and GDX was gone. So I guess that meant absolutely nothing on GDX. Good to know.
Yeah, we did good out there on Google. I'll show you my NVIDIA in just 1 second. So Google continues to go a little bit higher there on those imbalances, and this is what happened to NVIDIA. There's our stop, by the way, that triggered at 69 right there. But because it was just so wild, imagine this. Our market order triggers at 69, and the price I get, 81s. So figure that. Hit 69, someone buys it immediately, and by the time my order hits the market, we're there at 81. So we'll hit a banger right there for NVIDIA to get out of that one as it turns around. It's Google's going to the downside as well. So we're going to get out our last piece right now on Google. There it is. Yes, sir. Close the trade out there for a banger right there. Look, guys, big time day today. It's a trophy day. We're happy with it. We would have liked to have. Look, we'll be similar to where we were here off the open. So we actually had our big plays right away off the jump and then gave some back there on the TQQs. But no worries, man. We stay in our spot, come back here into the close, and then as they say, the rest is history, giving you guys this trade there into that close. And then really talking about Mara and getting some out there on the high side. I mean, every time you get to that 200 period, you're never going to be wrong getting some out there, I feel like. And then there goes that whoop all the way to the downside as we broke 19 off of this 1885 long, and we eventually get out the rest as crypto not holding those highs. Palantir doing nothing, Mara not doing much, Google, of course, we got out right there to end that trade. So what a great day. Make sure you do join me and Adara at the close as we will have all of the fun names that are reporting tonight.
Which is a lot of them.
Murderers Row.
And it's the fact that you say Murderers Row when the Yankees are faltering. That Murderers Row not exactly going all too well. Fortunately, stocks today running a heck of a lot faster than Giancarlo Stanton can run from second base to home, because that dude is now all of a sudden very, very slow. I think he must be hurt or something like that. I have no idea. But I wanted the Dodgers to win anyway. Shout out to Teoscar Hernandez, former Blue Jay. At least he left the Jays and he's going to win a title. We can have that. My daughter absolutely loves Teoscar. But the market is pulling back just a little tiny bit. It's obviously still a very strong day. Ultimately, Bitcoin does retrace, as we said, off that all-time high test, and you're going to get a bit of a pullback. But I think we know where to be looking right at 4 o'clock. So the chips were strong into the close. Some great opportunities in there. VGO went to 180. You had AMD break 166, go to 167.5. Nvidia was flying to the upside. Heck, even Intel broke VWAP. So it just shows anything is possible, and we'll see what happens. But AMD is the big one. Well, I mean, out of the chip names, because they're the ones reporting. And then Alphabet. Alphabet's been one of those sleeping giants there on Alphabet. You know, it's just hanging out, chilling out at that 50 and 200 period moving average, not doing anything going into those earnings, and now a little bit of a breakout. 6.5% the expected move, which coincidentally enough, that would pull you right back into local support if it does. Like right here at that 160 level, essentially, is going to get you pretty close to it. So let's see what happens here for Alphabet. It's going to be a banger of an aftermarket. I mean, it always is, like we say, it always is, but you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned for sure, because the earnings are just starting here. As we said, Bitcoin, not the greatest of the days, but you have to pay attention to a little bit of the disconnect that happened between Bitcoin when it was breaking highs. Mara, strong stock the last couple of days, but it ended up trending down. You looked at, Coinbase was the other one. That was what Sean was mentioning this one. Coinbase, as we were breaking highs, already breaking down and testing lows. MSTR lost connection as well as that ended up trending down. No trend break whatsoever. So big pullback there for some of the adjacent names. 55 hasn't hit, and some of these things are already moving in the other direction. What happened to Alphabet there?
Yeah, we out, baby. That's what happened. I mean, this is another banger right there. I mean, look where we got out there on Google, and look what it's doing right now. Nice move to the downside here for Google, Fabian. Wow. Okay. Nice to be out, they say, on Google, as there's the drop back in for that one as we get ready for earnings. And, we could talk about like the risk that's associated with trading around the close, but there's no better example than this right there, including having smart stop orders trigger. And I mean, there it is again right there. Google, we are now out, and wait for earnings now. So wait for earnings. I'm just tweeting it out as well. All right, I'm going to go over to the desk now because I better get ready to go as we do have a big one. So now we are out as Google retracing back in, Nvidia retracing back in. There's our Nvidia out. I mean, shout out to everybody out there that's trading today. Good moves here. It's going to be a very, very green day for us. And yeah, really happy with the performance once again there today. Thank you to Sharif and everybody for the midday show. Shout out to Joe in the back there. Not the easiest of days, but a pretty profitable one as we go. There goes Nvidia downside. Bitcoin trying to make its way back up as well. All right, I'll see everybody on the other side heading into the close. All right.
Wow, what a turn. Good luck on the close. It's going to be a wild, the aftermarket show, I should say. It's going to be a wild one, but you just had a hefty little pullback there. I was looking over, it wasn't just Google. I said what happened in Google, or Alphabet, I should say. But Nvidia just pulled back 142 to 141.5. Broadcom, which was chilling out above 180, pulled back into 179. AMD here pulled back 176.5 to 167.5 into 166. That was across the board, almost everything catching a little bit of an offer. And then because logic would dictate it, MSTR, which was trend down the whole day, that just popped $5 as the market pulled back. So go figure. When the market was going up, MSTR was going down, and oddly enough, that trend continues. So a bit of a different direction going here. There was nothing on the imbalance locator that would indicate. Sometimes at 355, we said this before, you'll get a bit of a flip of direction. So if we're trending in one direction, you'll flip in the other way when the imbalances come out. But there was nothing like that here. It just feels as if, some of the strong names caught a bit of a bid. And if you were trend down, it was almost like as we were going up, they were selling MSTR. And as we came the other direction, MSTR caught a bit of a bounce. This is I'm starting to like the way MSTR moves. Like today was actually the second time that I had ever traded it, but really I didn't really stick with it because Mara was more the thing we trade. But I do like the way that this actually held on to trend. Like look at it, hold on to support. Like those are the kind of things we like out of a stock. So might have to start looking at this one a heck of a lot more. Carsal saying, yeah, more definitely gamma expired, MSTR, big options. Obviously, we talk about the hedging that goes on with this particular name. So we got about 2 minutes to go in here. That's obviously going to end up printing up. I do wonder, just out of my own curiosity, yeah, you didn't get as big of a move. Like as we said, Mara was going down most of the day here. You didn't get as big of a move in Mara to the upside. It was very much a story that was only MSTR on that last little bounce. So fantastic, fantastic daily trend, whether up or down. There's always something you can sink yourself into. If you like trend down, now I was only long Mara today. It is what it is. You had to be able to catch your spots on it, but it was trend down. The market was trend up until this last little hiccup that we had, but don't worry about it, as we're here to trade in either direction. Going to be eyeballs on AMD. I think AMD is the first one that we are expecting. So because of that, that's where my eyeballs are going to be, on AMD at 4 o'clock. We got about 1 minute to go in there. Shout out to everyone that's going to be watching the aftermarket show. It's going to be an absolute banger. And if you happen to trade, I would say, like in the aftermarket, just be very cautious. Liquidity is not the same. If you happen to do it, first I suggest you don't, but if you happen to do it, know what you broker allows and doesn't. Do you have all the same keys? Do you have all the same types of stop orders? Some brokers don't allow stop orders pre and post market. So make sure you understand the limitations of your platform, if any. So we don't really trade here aftermarket very often, but I suspect there's going to be some big movement. So with about 30 seconds to go, you're going to have not just AMD and not just Alphabet, but you've got Chipotle, you've got Snapchat, you've got Reddit, you've got First Solar. I mean, you have a whole heap of things to watch in the aftermarket. It's going to be an absolute banger. But with that said, let's get the camera off me and get it into the lady in purple today. That's going to be Adair for the bell before another earnings bonanza. So it's going to come fast and furious after the bell here in 3, 2, and 1. Adair, ring it. And there we go. So I don't want to linger too long here. Shout out to everybody, the entire team up and down. Fabian, Ramin, 1s and 2s there. And of course, shout out to the Midday crew. Great job learning earnings. And of course, learning about options with Joe and Sharif. Shout out to Adair. Shout out to Brennan. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to my main man, Sean, up at the desk, who is locked and loaded. As AMD, there was a volume spike, but that's just a close. Doesn't look like anything is out just yet. Alphabet as well, not really doing anything. But we're expecting some fireworks. Host of earnings to get to, everybody. And it is going to be a wild day ender here in the aftermarket. So without further ado, if we're locked and loaded, we can get a thumbs up. We're going to throw it over to, we good? Okay, let's get it on. The market recap is starting now. Some movement in AMD, but earnings not out yet.
What's up, everybody? We got Benzingan on here. We got Adair right here as well. Welcome to the after show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Over 5,000 of you staying late to get the best earnings show, the best recap. Could I get, I hear myself in my ear, so maybe we can adjust that. All right, 170 right now for Alphabet. We're going to wait to see when earnings come out for that. Not moving around right now. AMD also not moving around right now. Maybe tell me when it's fixed. I'll take it out for now. There goes AMD. We're waiting for also CMG Chipotle coming through pretty soon as well. What a good day it was. Gold today up 1.08%. TAN down a little bit. Oil down. XLE down today. We wait for AMD. I do also have live level 2s open right now. So we'll wait for Google to come through 170 and change. No, don't shut off my, shut off Unity. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's logged in or not over there. Is it, Fabian? I can come over if it's not. Okay, so right now, Google 170 and change. We're still waiting for more to come out. Caesars Entertainment, a little bit of news coming there. CZR, thank you, Fabian, that's perfect. There goes CZR right now. Downside, but now back up. It looks like First Solar is now out as well. $2.90, Adara. First Solar moving around. First Solar was $200. Now it's $185. But look at the spread. I've said, I remember looking over and I was like, Sharif, what are you doing trading the after hours? Are you nuts? Look at that. Right now, $6 spread right there on FSLR. Alphabet is out right now. They are out. Oops.
$2.12 versus $1.74.
Go ahead, Adair. You have it. Let's go.
So I missed the revenue there because he's talking in my ear, but he beat on EPS over $2. They were expecting 1.84. Sounds like they also beat for cloud revenue estimates. YouTube ad revenue 8.92. So they also beat here. They beat for ad as well, 8.92 versus 8.89 expected.
32%
beating all these up. Sorry, guys, this guy's talking to my ear. I don't have the numbers out in front of me yet.
Wait, bring it back.
Okay, we have it. Here we go. GAAP earnings per share, $2.12 versus $1.84 expected. Sales of $88.26 billion versus $86.31 billion expected. Beat across the board. FSLR missed on revenue, $887.67 million versus $1.07 billion expected. So miss for FSLR. Nice beat here for GOOGL.
All right, I mean, that's a nice move for Google right there, right off the jump. Google, nice beat there, up to 176, 177, up 6%. I mean, we talked about this earlier. This is the setup you like, the hold, the break, the boom, right there for Google. Google can pull back. So let's just wait. Remember, as they go through this report, and Dara's right here is going to help us out. Gap EPS 212 versus 184 beat. Sales a beat, but you got to break it down. Cloud revenues increased 35%. Google services increased 13%. Is that light? We will wait to see. Right now, AMD not out, but AMD reacting to the good Google number. Remember, if Google can put up a good number and talk a good game, that should be good for all of the chips, right? So Nvidia not reacting, but AMD getting ready to rock and roll right now. Corvo out as well. CRVO is out.
Yeah.
Bad to the downside here. Corvo, nice move down there, down 10%. Goes QRVO right now. First Solar, just quickly, let's have a look at what that looks like, as that's another big name that is moving lower right now, down 10% there for QRVO and FSLR, both making those moves the other way. Google right now trading slightly higher. We do not have AMD yet, but we have Google right now 175, up 5 points, 5% points right there on Google. This is what a live level 2 looks like right now. 173.50 by 173, now 30s going to the downside right now. Google making some moves. There's the push back on Google, right back down in now. We were up 6%. We're now up 4% on Google as it's moving around right now. EA is now out as well. Electronic Arts is now out. 149. It's only a $10 gap right there, so not much moving here for AMD. We're going to wait for that 167 and change right now. So far, so good. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. The only name we have out right now is Google, and it's 5% Adara right now for Google. We're waiting for the big guys. We're waiting for Visa. We're waiting for Chipotle. We're waiting for Snapchat. We're waiting for AMD Adara. You're going to be busy, and we're going to have this in just a couple seconds. Google goes beast mode, they saying there in the chat. I don't know if this is beast mode. I'd like to see it hold a little bit more. Our viewers are going up right now. I want to thank everybody for watching this. $5,400 right now. Nice move there. Why is Qualcomm getting hit? You interrupt me at any time.
No, I'm just reading through. I'm getting a lot of data here at the same time. Visa, I'm not seeing how they were like compared to the estimates. I'm literally looking here on their website for these results. But $8.9 billion USD here for net revenue. That compares here to estimates of 9.4. So it looks like they missed on revenue, but that was an increase there of 10% year over year. I guess, again, it's kind of hard to compare these. I'm just seeing them off the website here. GAAP earnings per share, $2.40. Analysts were looking here for $2.58. So it looks like Visa missed across the board, but they beat on a year-over-year basis. So year-over-year increase, but a miss from what I'm seeing. Those might be non-adjusted, though. That's just straight off the website. Okay, I have the Visa now.
Yep, it's out now.
$2.65 above $2.58 expected. So Visa did beat adjusted. $9.62 billion versus estimate of $9.49 billion. So Visa beating here across the board. $2.71 adjusted. So yeah, good look here for V beating here on those adjusted results. The ones on their website are a little bit harder to read, but yeah, good look here for Visa. We are waiting for Reddit, which is actually late. It was supposed to come out at 4 p.m. And then we'll get Snapchat and CMG coming through at 4:10, 4:15 AMD. As I see things, I will react, guys.
All right, good. Thank you, Adara. Yeah, Visa there, good, decent number. The cloud revenue there, 11.35 versus 10.8 for Google. So a much bigger cloud number for GOOGL. If you are in the other name, Goog, that name, it'll be up the same amount, but just telling you the price, 177 there for Goog. The name that we always trade, again, the Class A shares, more volume. Goog L right there, 175 and change, up those 5 points again as we go. So it's a nice move there. Visa kind of sleeping now. Not doing too much, but it is out there. 271 versus 258, as we brought to you as well. 9.6 billion in sales versus 949 for Visa coming through there. Look, it's late now. It's 4:07. AMD, where are you? AMD. Reddit is now
out. Reddit.
So Reddit thought I was calling for it right there. Bang right there for Reddit as Reddit comes out. Big move there for Reddit. Looks like increased 47% year over year to 97.2 on daily active unique views. up 47% year over year. Reddit and forget it, 16 cents of earnings for Reddit right now as that continues. Wow, Reddit up 17%. There's not even a chart that can hold this name down. It's Reddit, it is ripping. I hope you guys enjoy the energy. Hey, over 5,500 of you now watching. Viewers are going up. I want to thank everybody for that. Send a message to my boss. 5,500, thanks, Adara. You got anything on Reddit other than what we talked about?
I mean, yeah, Reddit, I'm still seeing all the numbers come through. The thing I was going to mention, though, was Visa got a bit of a spike there. That was because they raised their dividend there by 13%. So dividend increase, they're sending Visa a little bit more to the upside. We have Reddit here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything new on Reddit that you didn't say there. Apple, though, actually went a little bit to the downside here. I'm not seeing anything specific to Apple to explain this move down, but however, right around the close, the information reported that apparently they're using an Indian factory for early manufacturing work for the base of next year's iPhone 17. So that's the only story I'm finding for Apple. I'm not sure if that's why it's moving to the downside, but AAPL, bit of a volume move to the downside. Around the same time we get that report of the information, we are basically should be getting CMG now as well as
Okay, as
CMG and Snapchat.
As AMD as well.
415
CMG is going to be 410. So what we're looking for here, EPS estimate of 25 cents, revenue of 2.84. Reddit sees they're guiding higher and higher, man. There goes Reddit now, $400 million in revenue. Looking forward to that. We're just seeing this as it crosses the board. AMD, just in case you guys are waiting for this name, 415. Snapchat is now out as well. Snapchat is now out. We were looking for a 20% move. And oh, snap. They are going to the downside right now, breaking through $10 right there. 8 cents adjusted for Snapchat. The adjusted was 5 cents. So Snapchat right now making the move down, and it looks like they'll beat on earnings per share, but we will guide, and we'll get that guide for you in a minute right now. CMG is now out. Oh my gosh, slow down everybody. We're only 2 people. There it goes, CMG beat. Apparently it's a beat, but it's a downside move right now for Chipotle. Comp sales restaurants up 6%. The estimate was 6.3%. It looks like Charlie Michael Golf, CMG, disappointing on same store sales. So a mixed report for Chipotle. Not good, man. Down 6%. We've now broken below here as we go lower. EA Sports, it's in the stock today. EA Sports right now, nice move to the upside, 146 to 149, as that's a beat right now. Why is everybody telling me about Amazon? They ain't doing anything except for going higher. We like Amazon. It's the Katina vacation stock, as we've talked about that over and over and over again. I do have a dairy here. I apologize if there's anything you want to break.
No, sorry, I'm looking. They're coming in really slowly today here, these earnings. I'm still reading through everything. I apologize. There's a lot of numbers coming through here. I will say for Snapchat, 15% year-over-year increase there in revenue. So that they reported 1.73 billion. Analysts here were looking for Snap to report 1.35. So it looks like they beat slightly here. Daily active users, 9% year-over-year increase, 58% year-over-year improvement there on their net loss, and 229% year-over-year improvement for their adjusted EBITDA. So the Snap report was not that bad. Chipotle also had a 6% year-over-year increase in comparable store sales. We're just waiting here for some more reports. So here's the whole Snapchat number. Okay, so it says they missed here. That it looks like incorrect. They did beat here for sales. They also beat for earnings per share here for Snap. 8 cents per share versus 5 cents expected. Sales of 1.373 billion versus 1.35.
Okay, let's go. Right now we wait for AMD. Oh, here we go. Hello? 415? Okay. Yeah, 415. 415 for AMD coming out right now. But Warren's happy. Google holding the bid right now. That's good. They've gone through the numbers right now. It appears to be holding the bid right now is Google. And again, Adara will review all of the big numbers very, very soon as she's preparing to do all of that. So we want to thank Adara for that. The numbers on Google, again, a 35% increase there in cloud as well. Sales of 88.26, beating 86. These are billions right now. So a $2 billion beat on sales, 212 gap versus 184. Google saying pewee to everybody that was worried about this name. As your boy was, that is for sure. We still wait for AMD. That is not out. We'll wait for CMG as well. That's bouncing, apparently, hearing in my ear. So Chipotle, yeah, a little bit of a bounce. Bounces off 54, back up there 257. We'll wait to hear more and more on this. Chipotle Mexican Guild full year comparable sales growth, mid to high single digit range right there for Chipotle. So they must like a little bit of what we're talking about right here. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls. He's enjoying it right there. Chipotle expects 315 to 345 new company opening stores right now in the new year. So that's probably a good number. Over 300 more Chipotles coming to Winnipeg near you.
Maybe, yeah. Well, the other thing
is there one in Winnipeg?
I don't even remember, honestly. We have this amazing chain called Taco Time. But Chipotle,
Is it
apparently,
a chain or?
It is a chain. So US has it, Winnipeg has it. I don't know if you guys have it. Taco Time is dope. You can get a salad in a Super Bowl.
Pass.
But yeah, so Chipotle also is worth noting with those new stores, over 80% of those new stores are set to have a Chipotle, and so easier checkout, I guess, there. Also, part of that move, for the reason for the Reddit move up, is not only that they actually were expected to lose 8 cents per share, and they made 16 cents per share on a GAAP basis. So that Reddit beat was pretty significant. Also with RDDT, you had 348.4 million in sales versus 311 expected. So massive beat for sales and unexpected profit per share there for RDDT. I'm still waiting on AMD.
Yep. Okay, good. Just quickly here, we're expecting right now 92 cents EPS for AMD. So 92 cents is what we're looking for. We're looking for estimate revenue, 6.71 billion. Now, these will be a little different. This is what we're writing down right now. Oh, I like the salt and pepper look up here. Okay, so that's AMD right now. EPS 92 cents. Revenue estimate 6.71 billion is what we are looking for, with an implied move on advanced micro devices of over 7% move there for AMD. This is what a live level 2 looks like for AMD. If you want to see something fun, man, this is going to happen right now. Watch out for AMD. You want to watch this right here? We can even zoom in right now to this if you can get it. Yeah, let's watch out for AMD. We're expecting it any minute right now. I don't hear that it's out. This is what a live level 2 looks like for AMD. You can see the spread right now, 25 cents. We'll see what AMD is dropping like it's hot right now through 163. Are we out? 162. AMD is making that move down.
Yep.
Look at this. AMD is now out 161. Ciao, Bella. Down through 160. We are starting to go lower and lower now on AMD. There it goes, 159. Who shows this? Who shows this? 159. We are dropping right now. Adara, what do we got?
EPS in line there, 92 cents. For their revenue, though, they had a slight beat, 6.8 billion versus 6.71 billion expected. It's worth noting here, too, AMD generally tends to meet their EPS estimates. At least the last few quarters, they have been exactly in line. So that's what we had here. They did beat, though, here for revenue. R&D expenses, 1.64 billion. So apparently they're spending more here for R&D than was expected as well. Okay. AMD here.
Good move. Just quickly here, breaking through 158. AMD now turns red, breaks below its day's low that it had earlier. You know what? Come at the king. Let's see what's going on with Nvidia. They're probably getting cranked a little bit. Down to 140 right now is Nvidia. Others, whoa, there goes my level 2 right now. We'll get that back up in 1 second. I have no idea where it went. There's AMD down to 159 and change. Continues to go lower. Right now is AMD coming back in right there. I'll get that other level 2 open for you in just a second, but it is a nice move down there for advanced micro devices. We had those numbers. You just gave them to us over there on AMD. So, I mean, we could review those. Just real quickly, there's the level 2 coming back up. Snapchat loses half there. We have that, who's the guy? Thanos. With the snap. Yeah. And then coming right back up, Snapchat shareholders liking that Thanos movement. But AMD needs a little bit of a wake-up call here. There was a correction on the Snapchat headline. It's 8 cents versus 5 cents, also with a sales beat. So, damn, Daniel, where are we buying some AMD? Right there, 92 cents in line, sales beating as well. It must be the guide, Adara.
Well, here's the thing. So their initial guide, from what I'm seeing, was 7.5 billion there for next quarter's revenue. Now apparently it's 7.5 billion plus or minus 300 million. Ooh. So that makes it now 7.2 billion to 7.8 billion again versus the previous estimate of 7.5 billion. They also said they expect to see growth with insatiable AI or computing demand. Insatiable is not my word. That is the word that I heard used in my ear. So apparently insatiable demand here. But yeah, AMD, once again, if you look back at their EPS, AMD tends to be in line with estimates for EPS. No exception there. And then the sales beating. But I want to mention that Snap correction that you were talking about there, because
yep.
that SNAP correction, what makes that significant is initially we were seeing reported that we were expecting a loss of 5 cents. We were expecting a profit of 5 cents. So Snap beat, but not by as much as we were expecting. Which is why I think that, or sorry, not Reddit. Sorry, that was Reddit, not Snap. Why those Reddit correction numbers were so significant was because it initially said we were expecting loss per share. The fact that we weren't is, not as much of a weakness we thought.
Yeah, ciao. AMD continues to go lower. Now, remember, AMD's implied move was 7%. We closed the day in and around 167, 168. So it's $10, little bit of a haircut right there for AMD, and it's clearly getting to the downside. But look, guys, I'm going to say something right now that I think is maybe a little bit bold. I'm buying Nvidia on AMD weakness. They're not the same company. AMD and Nvidia are not built the same. Platforms are built differently. This is also a software play that is Nvidia. So let's watch out for this. You could see Nvidia saying to AMD, hold my beer, young fellow, because it's just pulling back to where we were at 11 o'clock and rewarding dip buyers. Let's see if AMD can get back to the upside. Imagine AMD turns around, where exactly? But it is not turning around. AMD right now, 155 and going lower right there goes oh my God, you guys heard that? I almost threw up a little bit there. Getting to the downside. You know what though? It's had a big move. FSLR, 10% to the downside as well. Please tell me Google's holding. Please tell me Google's holding. Google's holding. Google actually almost makes new highs up there at 177 right now. Advanced money destroyer is AMD, says Chill Vibes. Nice downside play there for Advanced Micro Devices. Again, inline sales, inline EPS, sales the beat, but it was that plus or minus 300 million, sending people a little to the sell side here for Advanced Micro Devices. This is what it looks like on a daily chart here, just to get a little cleaner. We've pulled back 2 days. It's just so funny, Adara, because you look here, this is where we are right now, 156. This is where we were 2 days ago. We wicked down to 157. So let's not think that this AI trade is anywhere near over. Again, in line with 92 cents and a beat on sales with a rough guide giving that sort of plus or minus 300 million. But when we're talking about 9 billion, are we really going to punish this stock so much on a $300 million discrepancy? I would say let's buy the dip here in AMD, and I feel like you might have missed it already. Up $3 right there on AMD. You're looking at me like you want to say something.
Well, I was going to say, this is what happened to AMD last time. What I find when they come in line with EPS estimates, people do not like it. They need, apparently the street believes they need to beat EPS because they generally come in line, then we get a sell-off. The rest of the report generally positive. But I think what's interesting too is the midpoint of the guidance there of that 7.5 billion was below estimates of 7.55 billion. So plus or minus regardless, the midpoint is they missed. So that is an interesting report there for sure. I'm not seeing much else here on AMD. Apparently, their data center revenue, though, this is significant, 3.5 billion, up from 1.6 billion in Q3 2023. So that means they more than doubled their data center revenue there for AMD.
All right, just quickly right here, guys. Making money on the real show, on the midday show, on the after show. What show am I on again? Where am I? This is the recap show?
You're on a show.
And on the recap show, I said, look, man, take that as an overreaction and get yourself long. So Nvidia right there. We just looked at Nvidia. It was at 140.30 right now 140.90. We just touched it right there as, again, going to be pretty volatile now. 85s there for Nvidia. We just said buy the dip there. Looks like it is starting to react a little bit now. That's it. Like, I would just make one trade, get in and out right there as AMD trying to hold that top as well. There it is, AMD right now flat. That's Nvidia, sorry, flat right now on the day, back to flat as AMD continues its downside push. Now, considering where we opened, we're now down 2% there. What is Google doing? Again, let's have those numbers again when you get a second there, Adara. We'll review those. Well, I have Cloud beat up 35% right there.
Reddit's pushing into 100.
Reddit, and do not forget it at all. Right now, Reddit is a New York stock, Sean, not a NASDAQ stock. Wow, they got that listing, eh? $100. Yeah, you are right about that one. Let's go over a little bit of a cleaner look here. RDDT on the daily chart for this one. We'll flip it over in just 1 second. Reddit, do you have those numbers? Because why don't we go over the Reddit? Yeah, because maybe we can review that. This name is really the winner here today. Reddit, what were we expecting? We're gonna get in 2 seconds. We were expecting a 14% move. Right now, 25%. So, yeah, those of you playing Reddit, there it is, Adara. There is that breaker.
Oh,
Adara definitely brought that to our attention right there. Reddit breaking through 100, now 101. And again, I say to you, Andre, who shows these live level 2s? I'm going to say, Adara, nobody.
No, it's
and there it goes, 102 and change. Reddit, 28%. What are those numbers looking like?
Well, so we have here a beat here for GAAP earnings per share. So this one actually, initially, Reddit was expected to lose 8 cents per share, actually beating 16 cents per share here. So of profits, a great look for RDDT. Sales of 348.4 million versus estimates of 311 million. So good look. Now we also have their guidance, which is pretty strong here. They are guiding 385 to 400 million for Q4 2024 versus estimates of 356.7 million expected. So that is a nice little beat there across the board. They're expecting adjusted EBITDA between 110 and 125 million dollars. I can go over those Google numbers too. I just need to get that chart set up. But Google pretty strong here across the board as well. They had a 35% increase in their Google Cloud revenues, a 13% increase in their Google Services revenues, and there was here a beat top and bottom line. So GAAP earnings of $2.12 per share versus estimates of $1.84. Sales of $88.2 billion versus $86.31 billion expected. Highlighting here the momentum across the company there. So in terms of Google search here, we increased year over year. YouTube ads increased year over year. Google Network was the only segment where we had a drop year over year. But Google advertising, nice increase year over year, 65.9 bill versus 59.6 bill last year, guys.
All right, big time numbers there.
Oh, yeah.
And here's like a live look at the level 2 for Google. Trying to hold this 175. Again, some talk there in the chat about CapEx and things like that. You know, you want to see a big CapEx number so that you know that the AI trade can continue forward as there's more spend coming out, right? So we'll wait to see what Google winds up doing right now. Funny times, John, right there. I was just going to talk about CMG. CMG down 7 burritos. Yeah, so here's the CMG stock right now. You could see down 6 burritos right now. Downside right there for CMG, but a nice little pop right now up to 57 and change. It does get that low of $54, but now a little bit of a bounce back there for CMG. Is Reddit forgetting it or not? Yes, they are forgetting about 100 and starting to get back to the downside right now for that move down. Oh no, Keith Gill right now. That is the Roaring Kitty, just saying right now he is no longer in Chewy. So there's a downside move right now. We'll just hit bang for the news. We're bringing it to you live right now. Keith Gill, I believe, aka Roaring Kitty, is now out of this. This is a news report that we're just hearing right now. Maybe he's tweeted it out, maybe he hasn't. But there it is right now, a nice downside move. We'll confirm that. Maybe you can find Roaring Kitty on Twitter.
I don't think that would be on Twitter. It would be through a filing, and I haven't.
If he's filed, I mean, he might have just tweeted it out. I have no idea. But there we go. Okay, so we'll wait for that filing there. We can see if GameStop's doing anything again, because you could see the play here, right? Maybe getting out of one and into another. So there we go. GameStop does get a little bit of a move back up there for GME, touching 23.20. All right, there's over 5,000 of you. I want to thank everybody for staying late with us, but we're not done. Let's quickly review everything. All right, we're gonna go live level 2s now. 11:30 for Snapchat. Good little report for them. They did have a misreport there. Someone had misreported it. We'll get that story out to you, but Snapchat up 5. So we like the Snapchat report. We really like the Google report because I feel like everybody, if you have the S&P or the NASDAQ or any kind of a name that's associated with big cap tech, you want to see some beats, right? We saw Netflix. Now we're seeing this right here with Google. Google, nice upside move now, 5%. Hats off right there, Pachai. Nice move. Okay, that's Google. That's Microsoft. That's Google going back up to the upside right there. The next play I was looking for is AMD with Lisa Su. So let's see what AMD is doing. So AMD, again, with a slight beat on sales and an EPS in line of 92 cents. But AMD's story from what we know is the guide not coming in with rosy guide there. 300 million back or forth there, a little different. So questioning perhaps the robust demand there, but I'm sure it's moving on other news there. Yeah, so he did file an amended 13G.
Yeah, so he filed this amended 13G, now owning 0 Chewy as of September 30th. I went back here so I could get the whole deets on what he initially purchased. He bought more than 9 million shares of Chewy. This was posted here as of early July. So 9 million shares of Chewy, that was roughly, that was a $245 million stake in the company at the time. So $245 million stake, 9 million shares plus now has been sold. Also, I have the Snap earnings up to just quickly go over because you mentioned that error. So basically, it was initially reported that Snap expectations were a loss of 5 cents per share. The estimate was a 5-cent gain per share. So they still beat, but they didn't beat as much as expected. Their sales, though, were a beat 3.7 bill versus 1.37 bill versus 1.35 bill expected. Q4 revenue guidance between 1.5 and 1.51 and 1.56 bill versus estimates of 1.558. So the lower end, widely missing estimates.
All right, so Dollar Club winner. I don't know if we have that thing here, but there it is right now, Nvidia off the bottom. We said, I was thinking like, hey, let's stand out a little bit here and talk about what are some other plays off that AMD number. They're just two different companies. And then here it is, Nvidia right now, breaking through 141. That's a good one there. Nice upside move. Reddit continues its push today. As we get ready to go, I hope everyone's enjoyed themselves. Hit the like, hit the subscribe and everything. But right now, let's just shout out who's here. It's roll call. Oh, man, we really like this. It's already, can you believe that, Fabian? It's already 4:30. I just heard Fabian with damn right now. Thank you so much to everybody joining us there today. Thanks to Derek for dropping some of that. Chipotle on watch, AMD, Google, they all came through today. And what a good earnings report for some of the names. FSLR also to the downside. There, we'll watch out for that. Interesting news on Keith Gill and Chewy. But who's here right now? Fernando's here. Bears versus Bulls, what's going? Finch Jane is here as well. Penguin Dynasty, Daniel's here, Fernando's here, Pete Nova, Sebastian, Mike Breeze, thanks Sebastian, Projects Eck Woodworking, thank you so much for that one as well. Kevin O is here, yo, Rich Naples, how's it going? Send us some pizza. Tyrone Hamilton is here as well. Baron, what's up Baron? Right there, AMD testing 50 simple on the day. 50 simple on the day, I like, might be buying some of that right there. Marie L says, what's up to Adara and Sean as well. Banger of a day, my hat's off to you. We had a banger of a day on the show, man. Was a good one trading, that is for sure. We'll be back there tomorrow. The others, Printer, not yet. Future Eddie, Silverado, I'm here. David, Bag Holders, Jojo, XDMAY, Future Eddie, Rafa, Mike, yo. That's a wrap. Tomorrow, it is the trader of all Raiders will be here. It is Andrew Raider is hopping on a plane and heading to the Great White North, although he's from Ohio, close enough. He's in the building tomorrow. Have that confidence. Wake up, market. It's going to be a big one tomorrow, Adara, no matter what kind of stock you're looking at, whether or not it be Snapchat on the low end, well, it's now back up at $11. AMD will be traded, I promise you that. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Adara, for another big show there. Thank you, Fabian, for running the board. Thank you, everybody, Bears versus Bulls, and everybody that's watching. This is the Market Recap Show. Told you it'd be a banger. Good job, Adara. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Let's explode that right there. We got here potato, French fries.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You had the full potato?
Potato and then French fries.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
French fries. Right there. All right, let's go, guys. We'll see everybody tomorrow. That's Adara. I'm Sean, Trader TV. Both of us. See ya.
See ya.